about fake friends. And screw your ex is such a flake. Forget your grades, you need a break. It's all about you. No matter what the others say. But now I'm done talking, the lights on me. I tell you, I guarantee this night's about to take a turn for the better. Now the rain is pouring and all I see is lightning around my feet. Now nothing can bring me down. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. It ain't about money. It ain't about the coolest job. It's about having fun and love the ones that makes you shine. It's all about you. No matter what the others say. But now I'm done talking, the lights on me. I tell you, I guarantee this night's about to take a turn for the better. Now the rain is pouring and all I see is lightning around my feet. Now nothing can bring me down. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I'm done talking, the lights on me. I tell you, I guarantee this night's about to take a turn for the better. Now the rain is pouring and all I see is lightning around my feet. Now nothing can bring me down. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance.
Good day and welcome to the Southeast Asia Esports Championship 2023. And we are going to be your shoutcasters here in the English broadcast. My name is Giyang. With me is Oculus, and we have another weekend jam-packed with action for Wild Rift. Are you excited here, Oculus?
Oh, definitely, definitely. We will have what a total of 10 matches today. Tomorrow will be another 10, and then the day after we will have the playoffs, and we'll be featuring 5 teams from different regions, from different countries. And there's no stranger in who we are rooting for. I guess we will have, yeah, we'll have representatives from the Philippines, the fan favorite. Just because I said so, we also have representatives from Vietnam, another fan favorite, and then of course the silver medalist, or sorry, a bronze medalist from Sea Games last year, Singapore, joined by Cambodia and of course Laos.
Yeah, five regions here ready to set and play here for our big tournament here, and I guess they are all ready for sure. They are all also very excited coming to the recent patches as well, and I think we are gonna go towards a run through on our format and prize pool as well. But while we are just waiting for it to be flashed on the screen, I'm also just want to express my gratitude for being here again. Another action on Wild Rift, and we are also live stream right now on YouTube. And I just want to say hello to the viewers out there commenting in our chat.
Yeah, I actually want to check as to where we are live really, because I checked the YouTube Wildlife Esports channel. Did say there that there is going to be a live, but that's the VN broadcast or Vietnamese broadcast. I'm not 100% sure on that, but to those people that are asking where we are on live right now, I'll be more than happy to send you a message, and we'll be more than happy to announce as well as to where you can enjoy the English broadcast of this momentous tournament. Again, Kiyoung, the main reason why we are doing this is to heat things up, right?
Yes.
There's an upcoming SEA Games that will happen this coming May, and what day is it? It's already March. Oh my God!
It's only a few. Well, I mean, the time span is a little long. I mean, it's almost 2 months away, but that flies so fast, especially in everything that is happening right now in the Wild Rift scene. And yeah, I think we are gonna be going towards our tournament format right now, and you guys are surely familiar with it already, as it has been a little bit flashed on the screen. But here it is. We have 2 days basically of elimination, or like round robin, double round robin, for a totaling of like 10 games for day number 1 and 2. And then we are gonna head down to our single elimination, but a best of 5 final stage. So the top 4 is gonna have a big battle towards the top.
Yeah, it's a little bit forgiving here, Kiyoung, because again, the qualifier stage does have 5 teams, so there will only be just one team that will not be advancing. Who that is going to be, it will be a sad, a sad story to behold. But at the end of the day, this is a much more forgiving tournament. There will be 4 people that will be advancing to the final stage, and I cannot wait
True.
really as to who's going to join. Maybe Vietnam and the Philippines, and maybe even Singapore, because those 3 teams, at least in my opinion, at least in my eyes, already have a booked seat in the final stage.
Yeah, they have a vast amount of experience and also accomplishment over the past few, years here in Wild Rift. And well, one of the most important things to talk about here is the prize pool, in which, well, the first placer or the champion will get the whopping amount of course, the $2,000 plus. We have second player securing 1,000, third and fourth places securing 500. But there's also a big catch here, because every win these teams secure in the qualifier stage, they will get $300. So that is gonna total to a $10,000. All the wins is gonna matter here for these teams.
Huge amount of prize pool, and very much deserved by the Wild Rift community. Again, when talking about prize pool, yeah, it's one thing, but another thing is the prestige, and being able to represent your country is definitely going to be up there. And I do understand, I do know a lot of these players wants to, put their pride on stake right now, wants to stake their pride, whatever, and just wants to show off to the world what they're capable of. In terms of Wild Rift, as we look into the participants, as I've mentioned earlier, it's going to be Vietnam, Philippines, Laos, Singapore, and of course Cambodia.
Yes, all these 5 teams are gonna have a lot of battles all throughout these 2-day period. This is just the first day of the qualifiers, and I believe we are gonna be scheduled. We are also gonna be seeing the schedule of matches next, and these teams, I mean, they've come across to each other so many times already in the past few months and years that Wild Rift has grown, and there has been some changes here and there, especially because of the metas and also the patches being updated. Just recently, we had the patch 4.1, and it is gonna be a bit of a nuance for those who aren't really able to comprehend yet what the changes are, especially with the new items. But here's gonna be the schedule of today, starting off with a match with Vietnam region and the Philippine region. This is going to be a an explosive start for today.
I mean, the fans of Vietnam and Philippines are quote unquote friendly with each other. They almost always going to exchange pleasantries in the comment section. So that is definitely going to be our highlight match of the day, followed by Cambodia versus Singapore. That will be, I would say, the debut of Cambodia, at least in recent times in 2023. I feel that I haven't really seen them in previous tournaments, and there is a reason behind that. Match number 3 will be Philippines and Cambodia, followed by Laos versus Vietnam, another showing by Laos, or maybe a debut match by Laos. And of course, the match 5, 6 to 10 to follow.
Yes. 10 total games set in store for us today, filled with action here in the Wild Rift community, as well as 11 games, since we will also have a tiebreaker match for tomorrow in case there is a tiebreaker. And it is also going to be filled with action for sure. These 5 teams or 5 regions have been exploring all methodologies to make most out of the meta. We saw even in the previous tournament that some teams are experimenting some champions. We even have seen like a fantastic performance with a Zoe just one-shotting some people, especially when that champion is pretty much fed. But I'm also looking forward to how they are going to be adapting in 4.1, because we do see a lot of items being readily available, especially for tanks.
Introduced. Right. One word, tanks. That has been the main story of patch 4.1. We're in, this is going to be, I would say, a study day for us, because there's a lot of champions that has been, not really champions that has been changed, but there's some drastic improvements when it comes to the itemizations of the tanks. We have seen Amaranth, the Twin Guard, showing up in our rank games, and I saw a tweet by one of the personalities from Wild Rift that this item is so busted that you can actually equip it on marksman, and they would still be performing well to their duty, and that's something that we have to put into consideration. Of their champion that did actually appear, or the newest champion in the game as of the meantime in this particular patch, is going to be Urgot, or as I call it, Urgot. We'll see Urgot will be joining us today, Guillaume.
I saw a couple of videos as well on social media platforms, just showcasing this champion. Also some funny clips wherein there is an outplay going on. The enemy is supposedly being able to escape, and then suddenly there's a wild Urgot ult just catching at him and just basically ending his supposedly good reel. And also I'm really excited about the other item as well, the Amaranth Twin Guard, because it gives me so much vibes on the Jaxo in League of Legends PC. You gain increased durability over the course of your combat period, and suddenly get a big boost of that, a big chunk after the 5-second mark. And that item pretty much, or at least Jaxo, had been like a key item in the tanks for quite a while before it got nerfed down. So in here, as it gets implemented in Wild Rift as well, I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing the interaction between these new items, and also which item actually will be prioritized by these amazing teams.
All right. I mean, to be fair, it's been a long time coming since we've seen, various tanks. We've seen Garen, we've seen Nautilus, we've seen Galio, and Gragas as well. But most of the champions are often put in the support role. So that could also mean that, this champion does have another item path, and get those items real quick. Just to add on to your thoughts, there are also some changes when it comes to the Thornmail, and also Searing Crown has been added onto the Wild Rift, which is an alternative for Sunfire Cape, which is something to really look into here, Guiyang. All I know is that there's going to be a lot of bruisers still, and if these items are really at a very busted level, that I'm expecting the bruisers to equip them as well as their third, fourth item.
And I like what you said earlier. I mean, the tweet that you have seen on the mantle of the 12R, because mostly when there's like items, it's dedicated to a certain role, like support or
Uh,
tank, especially with the tank items that we do see right now in the patch. But uh, especially with the marksmen also implementing it, especially that it does give a big boost on their durability. It does change things up here in the mixing it up here in this meta, in which it might affect as well the pickings of the teams later on, because we have seen, you know, the trend for so long, the Riven, the Galio, the Senna, the Karma, the Yone, the Gwen, whatnot. And I believe I'm just looking forward to seeing some slight change here in their pickings. We have been seeing them as like the standard already in the picks and bans, but I'm always looking for something new. I was excited when I saw the Zoe, but I want more.
I mean, absolutely right. I mean, who doesn't want new champions to join us in Wild Rift competitive, right? Again,
Yeah,
the biggest wild card for me is Urgot, just
yeah,
because it's in a very special place. It's not a bruiser, it's not a marksman. It's a little bit of a combination of both. It's also an assassin if you actually put into consideration
hmm,
the ultimate of Urgot. But there's another things to consider. There's a lot of things to consider here, Giyang, right? Camille, is it still going to be the first pick worthy champion that we've seen him? Will there be another marksman in play? Because now that there are tanks, you need shredders. But so far, at least in the meta that we have here in Wild Rift Competitive, it has always been Lucian, the Corki, and nothing else, right? Sometimes there's the Varus, Ash maybe, but Ash is really built for utility, not really for
yeah.
damage. So those are the four marksmen that we have seen so far. Will there be a new challenger appearing in our midst? Will there be a misfortune, Caitlyn? Maybe I don't know.
Uh, or wait, will they? You know, I'm just throwing it out there. Will they put the Urgot in the Dragon Lane, since it's pretty much a ranged champion? And actually, it's one of the first ranged kind of bruiser tanks or fighters that was released for top lane, especially with the update that he received way back, and it was a big counter to all those other fighters before in the meta, and pretty much dominates. And it's very difficult to deal with an Urgot generally on a solo lane. Sometimes you would need some help from your jungler to try and pin him down and also gain leverage in terms of items. But overall, especially that this champion is relatively new and Wild Rift, I'm looking forward to seeing these teams kind of like eyeing on this champion as well.
I mean, that's the idea, right? You should be the
Yeah.
lane bully if you're the Urgot user, especially in the Baron lane. But there's a lot of things to consider in Wilder competitive. Oftentimes, the
Hmm.
support actually does roam with the first 30 seconds of the game. Making sure that the weaker lanes would be helped at would be helped at the very first few minutes of the game, just to make sure that they will have a better laning phase. In fact, I dare to say it, there's actually no point, in drafting for lanes. All you have to do is to make sure that you have enough wave clear to get the pressure, to get the priority, to supplement and to support your junglers, because the junglers
Yeah.
right now are in a state that if you actually give them a small amount of lead, they can actually snowball the game for you.
One of the biggest impact to players or role is the support. Definitely high impact all throughout the game all those roaming potential, and given the kind of meta right now being state in Wild Rift, just all you need to have is some wave clear, like what you mentioned, and you're gonna be able to at least stall the waves out. And it's up to the execution based on the composition that the team actually drafted. You know, having enough engage, having enough damage in the early game, or if you draft an early game, then you're supposed to be going aggressive in that particular time period. But if you have like scaling, you should be trying to avoid some of those. You know, the basic standard, the textbook
Yep.
plays here on Wild Rift already. That the professional teams already are kind of mastered already, and they're just looking for the slight inch of mistake that the enemy team will be making into the game. Because what we have stated this so many times already, Wild Rift is like a game of chess. You make a mistake somewhere in the middle, and that's just the thing that their enemy team is looking forward to punishing.
Of course, yeah. I mean, If it's a chess, I mean, who's Hikaru, right? Who's Carlos? What was it? What's his name again? I'm not 100% sure. I don't really follow chess competitive, but what I do follow is Wild Rift Esports, and there is also one thing that we can actually discuss here, Giyang, because inhibitor respawn adjustments. There's just one big thing that has been changed, and that inhibitors will no longer respawn after 19 minutes. So those comebacks that really relies on your inhibitors respawning will not happen at least past 19 minutes. They really
Oof.
want to trim down the game time, and that's
Mhm.
actually a good change if you're to ask me. I'm not really a fan of comebacks. I want very decisive, punishing, pounding of opposing teams. So we'll see if that will impact our games today. Another thing to consider, Gian, there's two wildcard teams that we do have. Laos and Cambodia. We haven't seen them, very much,
Mhm.
at least in the previous tournaments that we have casted. And yeah, I mean, if there is going to be one thing to look forward to this day, except for aside from the fact that we will have Vietnam versus the Philippines, it's that Laos and Cambodia. How would they fare against the more experienced
Mhm.
teams? We have Singapore, the bronze medalist. We have Philippines, the new and improved roster of the Philippine team. We have Vietnam, rep by Cerberus Esports. So yeah, I'm kind of
So
scared,
it's
but I'm also hopeful for Laos and Cambodia.
basically it's not looking good for both of both of them right now. I mean, they have to put up such a big or contest a big challenge way ahead of them right now. Cambodia and Laos are most likely gonna be fighting for that one spot, since we all only have like four teams going towards the playoffs for day number 3. So luck to them as well, and we're also looking forward for sure to seeing how they are gonna be perform against these other overachieving regions already, Vietnam, Philippines, and Singapore, in which all they're doing right now is securing, their name, trying to maintain their name on the top spot
Of
for
course.
all time's sake.
Yeah. There are a lot of things. It's 10 matches, Kiyang. We can actually reserve some of our talking points for later.
Oh, yeah.
But
Mhm.
I can actually invite our viewers to also mention us. My Twitter is @autocasts. So if there's a question that you want to raise, you can tweet at me or tweet at Gia, or you can actually use the comment section on YouTube, because apparently
Yeah.
we are live on YouTube. It's on.
Yeah, it's
It's in the
English.
English language. It's not
Yes.
Vietnam. It was the title says VN earlier, and now it's changed to EN, which is actually very good. So yeah, I'm actually reading some of the comments here, but by the time that we enter the game, of course, no comments because we have to
Mhm.
concentrate on the game.
Yeah. But we do appreciate the comments that they are, or the support that they are giving towards this amazing event, by right, of course. And I believe these viewers are gonna have a lot of fun in today's set of games, schedule of games, because we have 10 games like we have mentioned earlier, and it's gonna be filled with action for sure. I'm really excited to seeing how they are gonna be adapting towards the recent patches, and we're just waiting for teams to actually be ready as well. That's why we are you're seeing us for an extended period of time, but by the time we do start with the drafting and with the end game, it's all gonna be going straight for sure. But just chill for a while we all wait for the match to start, because again, this is an international event. It does take a lot of effort to kind of or organize, and also put in sync everyone from all regions.
Just excited, Giang overall. I cannot wait. I know that the viewers cannot wait for the game. We cannot wait for the game, but we're just waiting for the go signal to really enter the draft. I mean, it's Vietnam versus the Philippines. You have to make sure that all working conditions are actually checked. That you have a very good connection, that you have a very good background. By the way, it's so hot here in the Philippines. To
True,
all the
36
viewers out
degrees,
there,
37. Whew.
yeah, I
Oh
mean,
my lord.
it's the summer. It's
Is
the
that
summer
so?
heat, and I'm on.
Oh,
I'm wearing a coat So
Yeah, we're
guys,
very
please help me.
help us, guys. Help us, guys. Especially with the heat that is going to happen here on today's games. Definitely, it's going to be a sweaty day for all of us, especially on the hotter regions right now. Well, most
Yeah,
of us
I
are.
was
Yeah,
talking
we're all.
to our prod team, and they said that in Vietnam it's still spring. So luckily for them,
Wow, lucky.
it's not as warm as what we are experiencing here, Giyang. And I feel that this torture will happen in the next 3 months. So
No,
if you haven't visited the Philippines, I definitely would love to invite you over to this
at this
very
time,
beautiful country.
I
Just make sure.
challenge you guys.
They can go to our very good places like
Mm.
Bora or Baguio
I
or
believe La
somewhere
Union
else,
as well
Palawan.
is really nice for today. Union,
Maybe.
Palawan, all
Yeah.
those good places has really nice beach. Just make sure to stay hydrated, of course, and put some
Uh-huh.
sunscreen so that your skin don't burn. Because you physically feel the DPS on your skin. Like the moment like it's 10 a.m. onwards, you feel the sun burning, toasting your skin. That's how hot it is right now. Because I already have like a couple of tan lines on me already from just walking outside.
Ex- Tan lines, okay. All right, Giyang in his tan lines. All right, okay. That's not what I expected to hear for to begin the day, but of yeah, of course, like sure, man. I
Alright,
think we are entering the draft here,
are
Giyang.
we?
Finally.
Yes! Yes,
Oh,
finally!
there we go.
Vietnam and the Philippines match up the first match for today's day one qualifier. And of course, we are both excited here as well as our viewers. So make sure to support the teams right now participating in the Southeast Asia Esports Championship. And they are gonna give us a good show for sure.
Of course, I mean, this is like our highlight match of the day. Experience wise, definitely up there. Roster wise, definitely up there. Aggressive wise, definitely up there. I mean, all the stakes, and it's about sending a message to the whole tournament. If you actually
Mhm.
win this key matchup, it's safe to say that you are the team to beat, right?
True.
Heading into the final stage, right, which is going to happen on Sunday. And again, Vietnam, they will be repped by Cerberus Esports, and there you go, the starting five with the Force BY1 and the Baron Lane, a Yone main, hence the name Y1, a very good
Mhm.
jungler, the ace of this team, Meliodas, and going to be joined by BMM, Genza, and the veteran presence of Akeno.
I honestly really like the synergy of this team because it really stuck to me when they go in on team fights and basically win some of those team fights that's supposed to be their loss. And I think it's one of the most important thing to take note of on this team is the synergy between Y1 and Meliodas and BMM and Aquino. Those playmakers of the team just make sure that their team wins. And now going towards the Philippines, I mean, do they even need an introduction here? I mean,
I
they're
mean,
really
yeah, of
strong
course
right
they
now.
do.
Yeah, just he's being really strong in the jungle. Demon Kite, this guy I have been following for so long, ever since he joined the Wild Rift scene. And I forgot what team he was before, but in the first few community tournaments, he was already showcasing his skill set on the vein.
Yeah, I mean, Demon Kite is the only player that has repped the Philippines already twice now in international SEA Games. Right, last year he was repping the Oasis gaming banner, but before that he was actually part of BVV, part of LOL PC as well. So a very wide array of teams that he has joined prior to really joining the Behemoth team, the All Star lineup of Nigma Galaxy. But if there's actually a key matchup that we have to discuss here, Giyang, it's definitely going to be the jungle because it's going to be
Yeah,
just Chi versus Meliodas.
definitely. The who is gonna have the most impact in the jungle here? Will it be Meliodas or Joshi? And going towards the band right now, it's still just pretty standard. We can see the Karma being taken away here by Team Vietnam. Philippines just taking away the Camille here, which does have a significant amount of impact that can be fully utilized as well here by Y1 and Meliodas.
Yeah, I mean, the question that we presented earlier, Giyang, is Camille really still the first pick worthy champion that we've seen her, numerous times in the past couple of months, past couple of, metas? The answer is an absolute yes, because Philippines is already taking away that champion of Vietnam. There's a lot of
Ooh.
options here. Meanwhile, on the other side, Vietnam is actually targeting the supports, the enchanters. We see the Yumi, we see the Karma. If there is one champion that can really work well with the Philippines, it's the Yumi paired with the Aatrox. But they're forgetting one thing. We still have Draw here, one of our best playmakers in the support role. I dubbed him as someone that can pull off the quick draw, which is basically a move with Galio and Gragas maximizing his flash usage for that potential of an engage. So yeah, I'm actually liking the ban so far because the Philippines still has flexibility all across the board.
Huge flexibility for sure, and in both of those champions readily available for draw to be picking up later on, since Vietnam, they have focused more on the utility plus the Gwen here. Philippines has taken away so far the Camille, even the Senna here in the latter stage. So Vietnam now with their first pick can pick up well anything that they do want to set and play for themselves, given that
Jace?
even Jace even was a little fixed in the recent
Actually, it
past,
was
especially
buffed.
on his cooldown.
Yeah, it was buffed. I mean, for some
The
for
cooldown.
some strange reason, it was still buffed. I mean, the priority on that champion was already at an all-time high, and the balancing team decided, hey, it's not enough yet. We
It's
need you to, we need
We
you
need
to
more.
overperform. Yeah, there you go. I mean, now we're seeing at least in the first few picks that we have here, Kiyang, that it still is the Bruiser meta. They go for the Riven, they go for the Fiora. There are still other champions that are available. We still have the Jax that would also be that can also be used for that late game insurance. And speaking of Jace, finally we're seeing Jace for the Philippines. I'm wondering as to who's going to use it, because we all know that Chami is a lane bully and can really excel on this champions. Aatrox is banned, so yeah, one of the problems that can be presented of that gap closing potential has already been taken away by the Philippines.
No Karma Nautilus combination as well gonna be present here, since it has been banned away by Vietnam in the first banning phase. But they will pick up the Zed, which is one of the premier champions here of BMM, going for those flashy moves and trying to assassinate the squishy member of the enemy team. But wow, okay, they bring out the cinch here for the Philippines. Wow, they're showing such a slap here right now.
Yeah, patch 4.1. Welcome back, Cinch. Cinch
Yeah.
has been a very, very popular pick back in the Icons Global. Actually, even before that, because it's so flexible, it's so low econ, and one of the most underrated things about Cinch is his second skill. Once you actually put the Mega Adhesive glue, I
Nobody
forgot
can
what-
escape.
I forgot what it's called really, but the super mega adhesive second skill by the Cinch, you can actually disrupt the dashes that is available for the Riven, that is available for the Zed, even the Nautilus. You can even disrupt the flashes. So all those engages, once you have Cinch, you can actually expect that it will just be a very annoying champion to play against.
Especially when the coordination is really well put by the Sedge player. You fling someone towards a mega adhesive and the follow-up comes through from your allies, and it's going to be a GG to whoever the victim is. Plus the new items right now definitely suit the Singe playstyle. I mean, I don't even know which item are they going to be putting towards Singe. Would it be the Mantle of 12 hour? Will it be the Amaranth Twin Guard? Will they go with the Sunfire here? Or I don't know, because these teams know more on this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm guessing, Giyang. I'm raising my hand.
all right.
It's still
What is
going
it?
to
What
be
is
the
it?
Rhylice Crystal Scepter.
The slow.
With the Leandris. I'm not 100% sure if there will be any changes, but just the value of that item onto a Cinch.
Oh,
The
sure.
slows, the HP, the AP, everything is actually so good on this champion. We're looking into the second rotation of bans. Wukong has been banned away. Renekton has been banned away as well. Two of the champions that can deal very well against the Cinch because of the sudden burst has been taken away by the Philippines. And now they're going full utility here. Demon Cat
Wow.
would be playing the Ashe. But the question that I have, DM, is this going to be a utility Ashe? Because we know that Demon Kite really loves to, dish out damage. And this Ashe can be built two ways. Although in competitive, we've seen, the utility Ashe 95% of the time.
95 for sure. And Team Vietnam already even picked up an Alistar here on their side. So double front line, basically a lot of front lines in their kit. Now Philippines will just pick up the quick draw here for a draw. Definitely with the Galio. That is another initiator ready to make the place here for the Philippine region. And I like the matchup here. So many tools for engage here on both sides. It's going to take a lot to who's ever gonna get the first tempo in the game.
It's a very straightforward draft, but what I'm wondering right now is where is this going to? Where is this Nautilus going to be? Is it going to be in the jungle role? Because as you can see in the draft of Vietnam, there are two supports at the moment. You have the Nautilus and you have the Alistar. I've seen Nautilus played in the jungle, in scrim results, whatnot. I did not pay attention to it so much, but it does feel like that Vietnam is very comfortable in playing. So the only question though is it really going to be the best game plan? Because Giyang, for me, Meliodas is a very good jungler, and if you basically put him on a utility support such as the Nautilus, maybe you're actually negating some of his impact towards the late game.
Yeah, true. So maybe Team Vietnam are just going to be looking for a big initiator here, since the Nautilus does possess a lot of crowd control in a sense against to try and leverage Y1 and BMM on mid and top lane. But you do see Demon Kite here as well on top lane, and maybe they're just going to be looking to bully Y1 at the very start of this match.
Textbook NGX or textbook Philippines team rotation. They want to make sure that Chami would have the early game advantage that he's really good at maximizing, and not to mention that draw would be left by his lone sub, which means that he can actually farm a lot of resources, allowing him to get easier access to Rod of Ages maybe later in the game.
Yeah, and when it does get that Rod of Ages, it's gonna help so much in the scaling as well. Vietnam has to be very careful for sure, especially that they're the ones who should be looking for the picks with the Nautilus jungle. But give it a matchup actually here as they send Hakano towards the top. Genza might be in a difficult trouble.
No way.
Ignite will get him. Wow, as we go towards the top line now, Philippines securing first blood, throwing the first punch here at Team Vietnam.
Speaking of punches, this is just a punch, I believe, that is connecting over to Genza. Genza with no heal whatsoever, just has the ghost and the flash. Suffers the first casualty for Vietnam. Meliodas though, again on the jungle Nautilus. Eager to see as to how he's going to build this one out. Maybe on the AP side, because actually I can actually see him prioritizing the amplifying tome. The 2v2 in the top lane continues. Very good two-man pulverize combo from Akeno.
Yeah, just throwing punches at each other. That's Y1 with a double stun. But not much threat being felt here by the Philippine region, since they do have Demon Kite just basically kiting away against these two melee champions. Team Vietnam still not really in a down spot right now, despite Genza falling down a while ago. Still is able to try to catch up here in the economy of draw. Only 400 down, but on top side another fight breaking out. Meliodas just gonna be helping them for the meantime, since Akino has to recall.
That's actually a very good discipline coming from the Philippines. Demon Kite and Chami had the option to go and flash in, but they decided not to do so because they did not have enough information as to where Meliodas is.
Oh no! That's the parry, and the flash used to just escape after, unfortunately, getting caught there by Meliodas. Oh, what? And he gets the kill!
What the heck?
And for what? He survives! What is this guy made of? Team Vietnam explodes here in the top lane.
Yeah, and now Just Chi trying to sniff where the Riven is at the moment. Would be delayed easily by Akeno, but what a play coming from Y1. That is what we call the destabilization factor coming from Vietnam. As we can see, Vietnam's Y1 going ham, does not have any qualms at all did not hesitate,
Fadeaway.
and that fadeaway win slash, as he said, did actually get ahead of 2 hits of the Philippines. So yeah, with much credit that we're giving Philippines, Vietnam is actually, not too shabby as well with their punches.
Especially that Y1 got a double kill there. That is a big win for him. But now as the Philippine region tries to pummel him down, that's nowhere to go for Y1. 4 versus 1, there's nothing that Akino can do. But BMM just pushing in the mid lane, and Akino just trying to
Unbreakable.
clear out the wave. It's going to be very difficult to
What?
escape though, as Philippines again will get a second kill on that top fight.
Yeah, Unbreakable, not really. Meliodas still has the ultimate, is content in wave clearing the pressure coming from the Philippines. But, the good news if you're a fan of the Philippines is that you were able to chunk down the tower onto less than 1800, which means that if they are actually able to get, the Rift Herald, it's just going to be an easy summon for them. That's going to be the first tower for them as well. Very good counterplay coming for the Philippines, getting 2 hits in the price of nothing.
And gaining gold leverage right now so far. No, it's not really a lot. 1,000 only present here on the side of Team Philippines. And Team Vietnam still able to get across some gold all over the map. We haven't seen BMM joining a fight just yet. It's more so just collecting some gold from the platings in the mid lane and some from the waves in the side lanes. But his impact is so far not being seen here all throughout the game, and Team Vietnam has to look for ways to try and assassinate the backline, since Team Philippines does have 2 range in here, Joshi and Demon Kite. Well, when the Jace is on range form, as now they split up towards both objectives. BMM actually is eyeing on engaging. Let's see if the pulverize will work. That's the death mark onto the front line. Joshi flashes away though, and now Team Philippines going at them hard, dishing away as BMM falls. Aaron is just doing so much work here in that fight.
Whoa.
And they even flash in to get the kill onto Genza. He did not expect that.
Flash into the fling, plus the Justice Punch to connect to boot. Now Philippines 3-man strong, trying to get some plates in the mid lane. And that's actually just a decent trade overall for both squads, because one, Vietnam was able to get a top tower, but a couple of interactions that we have to look back into that particular team fight was that the heroes entrance did get cancelled. I thought that was a very good engage coming from Akeno. I feel that Akeno was in the perfect position to really disrupt the flow tempo of the Philippines, but Philippines came in ready and was able to get more heads, more gold for themselves, and plus the scaling factor of the Infernal Dragon.
That was a nice
Arrow?
moment
Arrow?
by Akino.
Boom!
Yeah, it's gonna connect. Oh, unfortunate there. And yeah, that's just gonna be the full combo swinging. Especially with the Mega Adhesive, you cannot escape at all.
Yeah.
Good job there by Demon Kite for sure.
Okay, it's called grounded, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you are stepping on the mud, or what we call Mega Adhesive, you are grounded. You cannot flash, you cannot dash, you cannot do anything, you're slowed. So that's also a very good reason why pick up Singed. This is one of the champions that I have used to get the Grandmaster very easy, just because of how easy to control this champion. Plus the fact that if you actually know how to play the macro side of things, you don't have to have the best mechanics. Oh!
Oh,
Easy.
round 2. Oh no, it's a nightmare for BMM. But now in the mid lane, they do get draw. So that's a 1-for-1 trade plus a tower that Team Vietnam can actually get. One of the best towers to take here in the game. Philippines has lost it in mid.
Getting the trades are the Philippines in the bot lane, but yes, you're right. The mid lane tower is a little bit more important than the tower in the bot lane. Just Shido has to be careful. Akeno, the rampaging cow, is going to catch this Jace, and Just She does not have any chance at all.
Yeah, low mana as well, and there's like,
Bye-bye.
even a flash there by Meliodas. 100% commitment to shut down Joshi. And they do get it. Meliodas gets the gold, and Joshi will still get that Yomus after dying in the bottom lane. We do see an equal grounds here in terms of gold for both of these teams. None are giving an inch towards each other. They full commit onto the fights, and they do get their chances every now and then. Eyes on Demon Kite though all the time, because those arrows keep on connecting, or at least pressure the members of Team Vietnam whenever they cast it.
That's true. I mean, if there is one caveat, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, here's the caveat. Arrow, not mid. Oh, what? The curved
That's okay,
bullet. Moving from wanted, definitely, as Team Philippines will be able to disengage because they
Yeah.
piled onto Chami pretty hard there.
And Chami is very hard to really assassinate. Just the fact that he can, or he will always have that repose to outplay. Look at his summoners. Did not even bother using his flash at all. So there's pretty much no threat. Now, the question that I do have right now is, will the Philippines challenge this Rift Herald that is going to summon, or that is going to spawn in 10 seconds? Because to me, it looks so risky right now. All the crowd control coming from Vietnam and all their beefy members in the front line does actually pose a threat. And look at the arrows being thrown by Genza onto the members of Philippines. Draw is already at half health. The fight hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, but it will, as the death mark being used here on the Joshi. Lots of damage being done. Y1 gonna be joining, missing
Draw
the
is
AoE
dead.
damage show, but oh my god! That damage just too high coming from Team Vietnam. Joshi tries to retaliate.
Genza flashing in?
flashes in,
No.
makes a crucial mistake! What are you doing there? As Philippines punish him heavily. 2 for 2 now, as Team Vietnam rushes towards the Rift Herald. 2,900 HP remaining, but Aaron is trying to mess with them, throws a mega adhesive, but will not stop the taking of that objective.
A couple of more hits in the mid lane tower. Yeah, they're not going to be able to secure this one out. Melioda still has the combo. Deny easily killing spree.
Oh!
And there you go, 2 kills for the Philippines right away to respond to the Vietnam's play on the Rift Herald. All in all, I would say it's a small advantage for the Philippines because yes, they've given away one of the objectives, but it's not yet over here.
Yeah, round 2 definitely. Aaron
BMM.
gets obliterated, exploded in the face there of Team Philippines. But now, Draw trying to close the distance onto Genza. Has to back away for now. Chami is just gonna be helping it out. And a good answer actually by Aquino and BMM. Again, the combination has been there all the time, and just looking for more ways to pummel down Team Philippines. Now with crowd control again, Draw gets eliminated from the equation.
They want the
How can they
dragon.
get the dragon now?
No,
They're just
they
completely
cannot.
being zoned away. Demon Kai tries to walk away, but what can they do? Everyone from
There will
Team
be a
Vietnam is
dive.
circling down towards the tower. Yeah, the dive will
5
commence.
people.
Y1 goes in
Easy.
the front and nobody will survive. I mean, Joshi goes for a stasis, but what can he do?
Nothing here, Kiyang, and look at the cinch. Rushing towards the bot lane, deciding wisely to back away, but the Rift Herald could still slam the second inhibitor turret in the bot lane. Philippines taketh, Philippines giveth away. That's a very greedy play coming from the Philippines in trying to secure the I would say the chunkiest dragon of them all. That's the Mountain Dragon.
That's
Had
true.
it been the Ocean Dragon, it could have been a lot easier for them to secure, but because of the HP total of the Mountain Dragon, Vietnam did have enough time to respond into that play. As we look into the replay, it all started with Draw being less than half HP. Look at his impact. It's close to 0. Yes, he was able to taunt. Yes, he was able to do some stasis play, but he's dead right away. The crucial mistake, as you have said, is Genza flashing in, greeting towards Demon Kite, but Demon Kite, quick to his feet, was able to flash away, double kill over to Just She. Now, Just She, yes, Just She was able to get them the win in the earlier team fight, but here you can see that the HP of the dragon is still at 1,000 HP, and there's no way for them to be able to secure that with Akeno being in their midst.
Huge impact as well by Genza, despite him dying earlier. The chain of corruption is definitely a big problem here towards engage of the Philippine region. And Vietnam does have a lot of crowd control. Only BMM doesn't have
Arrow,
the crowd control.
Genza.
Genza got hit by the arrow, but not much to be followed up. But they might need to trade
Aquino.
Aquino here since the Grand Challenge is being used. Demon
He's so
Kai is
tanky,
guiding
though.
away, but oh my god, Jamie gets blown
What?
off.
Demon Kai
as
flashed
now,
in.
here comes BMM. And the
Why,
damage
what?
being come through. Nice use of the stasis though, as
Demon
BM
Kite is still alive.
tries to go desperate there. Joshi and Aaron just do magnificent work in the front line. Deny even the kill there onto Demon Kite.
And this is where Philippines is so good at engaging and being very decisive. They were so decisive. They were so aggressive, catching multiple members of Vietnam out of position. And Demon Kai flashing in, I thought it was the end of him, but he was he still has stasis, and BMM was left to dry. No counterplay whatsoever for the squad of Vietnam. Philippines getting the advantage. That's 2 kills for them, and more importantly, they were able to negate the tempo that Vietnam was able to get on that second dragon.
And I love how tied up the score is right now for both of these teams. I mean, the gold, the dragon stacks, the tower takedowns. All the kill score is different, but it reflects so evenly here on the gold here for both of these teams. So they're doing such a magnificent job all throughout, countering each other, trying to initiate and pin down one another. But we're still at a stalemate position right now. Nice dodge, though, by BMM. Wow, this guy is playing a lot of dodging games here in this game, as Team Philippines still gonna be under cooldown now for the Ash Arrow of Demon Kai. So lesson of tools for those engages. Akino, though, making a big mistake. He will need to pop off that unbreakable
so
will.
tanky,
Y1 tries to help him zone away members of the Philippines, and they will be successful at it.
Insanity Potion has been popped by Aaron as well. But one thing to note, if you actually did look at the scoreboard, Just was able to get 9 kills already and is already on his 4th item. So it's actually easy to say that this is the Just Chi show. So far, almost all gold has been invested to him. He has the most gold in this game, Iran!
Yeah, after the blast cone, they will get Kenza blown up, and Akino simply cannot save his ADC. It's a sudden turn of tides here. Team Philippines now knocking on the door, knocking on the base of Team Vietnam. Meliodas Y1 trying desperately to save this tower, but to no avail. That's a death mark, and a big blow there after the grand challenge heal. And now that's everything on the line. Team Philippines just closing out their last remaining members. They have no wave though, yet they have to wait for this that is connecting into the mid. Can BMM defend? He's desperately trying. Yeah, Team Philippines, after securing an ace, they will secure the first blow and get that 1-0.
What a very decisive win coming from the Philippines in under less than 16 minutes here, Giyang. Philippines dominates Vietnam.
And a fascinating performance here by Team Philippines. Team Vietnam did tremendous work though all throughout the game, but that decisive engage in the mid lane, the tower dive, the blast cone play of Aaron was not expected definitely of Team Vietnam. It was mwah.
Yeah, I mean,
amen.
Okay, first of all, Finch is not known to be a champion that can actually come in from, weird angles, because he does not really have dashes over the wall. But because of the ability of that blasting cone, he was able to surprise the 2 members of Vietnam. Vietnam did think that, sending 2 members was actually enough to defend the mid lane tower. But lo and behold, surprise, surprise, it's the Philippines Nigma Galaxy team that we are talking about. This team is just so decisive. They don't respect towers at all. They're going to dive you underneath your tower, in your fountain, in your base. And that's what we have seen so far. Very good game number 1, I would say. I mean, I'm all smiles. You can say I'm biased. I don't care. But it's a good game overall.
Yeah, Team Vietnam did really good work as well there in that particular game. They were able to get the small wins that they needed to try and match up the firepower there of Team Philippines, the dice that they have commenced in the bottom lane to take down Joshi and another player there from Team Philippines. And it's just that pinnacle moment in the mid lane that led to a disastrous assault there for Team Vietnam. And I believe Team Philippines is going to be looking for more ways to win those kinds of games on their next upcoming matches, because we have a lot of games set in store for you guys here today. That's just the first match in all of the 9 games we are going to be witnessing and enjoying for the rest of the day.
And that's actually another thing to consider when facing against the Philippines. You don't know who's going to carry the game, right? We all know that Chami is a beast in the Baron lane. We all know that Aaron can stand against the best of the best in the mid lane. And Demon Kite also carries or has the carry potential in almost all their games. But at least in this game, you see, Justchi, he's not going to go for the utility. He's going to be up front and personal in dishing out damage as the Jace. And we did say that this is going to be a highlight matchup between the junglers. Just Chi versus Meliodas. Round 1 goes to Just Chi.
And I even saw, First Blood being won there by draw. That's how big of an impact each individual is on this game. And let's check on the highlights of the game to just enjoy what happened in that first match.
Sure. Let's go. Let's go
Let's
for
go.
the
Let's go.
highlights.
Let's check it out.
But I mean, what a performance overall from both these teams. We can see this is one of the very good catches coming from BMM. If you're a BMM, you cannot fault him from not reacting at all to that very good arrow, because it did actually come from the fog of war, right? From the dark areas, and that's how you utilize the arrows. If it comes from terrains, the chances of you being able to react to that is close to minimum. And you could see right now, that's the very good blast cone over the wall. He was actually spotted by the ward, but Vietnam did not respect at all the ability of Aaron to be the engager on this cinch.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why you have to be careful of the cinch. He's a very good engager. He's a very good tank right now. Did not really build any new items so far, but it's not like it's not needed, right? I mean, Rod of Ages into Rylai's is actually a very good combo if you're talking about the Singe lineup.
The OG itemization for the Singe, such tremendous impact all throughout the game here for the whole of Team Philippines. Doing tremendous work in the whole of the game, and despite the efforts there of Team Vietnam, it was just not enough, especially when Genza and Akino were dead. Their wave clear was reduced significantly, and the race to prevent those pushes coming from the Philippines in the mid lane was just not enough, and that led to the fantastic victory of the Philippines. So well played. I mean, Team Vietnam still will have a game later on. Lots of games actually for today. Yeah, for all our regions, our teams here. So many ways to actually retake the victory and try to secure more points to qualify for day number 3.
That's true. I mean, there will be another matchup between the Philippines and the Vietnam, because this is double round robin format, Giang. So round number 1 goes over to the Philippines, and on round number 2, I expect Vietnam to stay away from the Nautilus jungle. I'm not faulting the Nautilus jungle as a pick, right? But to me, you're actually doing more harm than good onto your overall roster, because when talking about Meliodas is like the superstar of the Vietnam team, of the Cerberus squad. And if you put him on Nautilus, he's not going to be as impactful, especially on the damage department. We know that Meliodas can play the carries. We know that Meliodas can play the Riven, can play the Lee Sin, can play the Graves even. So those are the other champions that I would love to watch Meliodas pop off on. Now, on the other side, if you're NGX, is there anything to fix? You know what? Maybe not. Maybe, some over-aggressive plays. Maybe some minor notes, minor details to fix. But if you are Coach TG and Coach Vansu, you'll be happy. You'll be happy with the overall aggression, overall decisiveness. And it's safe to say it's also calculated, Giang, because they have the hawk shot, which means that they have enough information before going for engages.
Yes, and normally they do get some information first before they actually make a move. Some miscalculations were present, like what you said, just like the Mountain Dragon take that was left with 1,000 HP before Team Vietnam actually countered them and swept them away. But yeah, it was just unfortunate there for Team Philippines. But overall, their technicality on paper, they're doing really well, and they're just gonna be looking forward to polishing their movements more for their next succeeding games. And since it's just a first match, lots of matches to be seen as well here by Team Vietnam and Team Philippines. And overall, it's just kind of like what you mentioned. It's just the testing ground for the first few games here.
We'll look into the stats and the player of the game, I feel. And there you go.
Yeah.
Stats of the game. Genza gets the most damage dealt, but that's okay, right? I mean, that's kind of expected, especially from a poke champion. But on the other side, the most damage dealt all throughout the game is just she. 21,698. This is the Jace that has been buffed, which we did question. The very beginning. I mean, why buff this champion? This champion already is in a very decent state, and now has been unlocked by Joshi in the Philippines. And there you go. No Rift Heralds needed by the Philippines. No Barons. No Elder Dragons, of course. just needed one dragon and very decisive team fights over and over again, gets the win for the Philippines.
Yeah, even just one Infernal Dragon, and that helped them already in their team fights, especially with the information that they have gathered also far with Hawkshot of Demon Kite, with all those arrows coming from him. Some were dodged there by Team Vietnam, but most actually was made perfectly by Demon Kite to catch them off guard, and those kinds of plays is what makes Team Philippines really strong in today's game, and especially in the first match that led to their victory, among with the other tactics that they have um, done all throughout the game. Joshi with the whopping damage he actually dealt a while ago, and the amount of impact that he's done, he is crowned the MVP of this match. Definitely a well played performance by this key player.
I mean, if your damage per minute is over 1,000, if your gold per minute is over 1,000, regardless of what game you play, be it League of Legends PC or Wild Rift, you will be the MVP. The KDA is 1.86, but make no mistake, all those kills was so impactful. And even in his death, he was able to dish out enough damage to really catapult the Philippines team ahead of the curve. Right now, the standing 1-0 for the Philippines. Care off your Mr. MVP, Joshi.
Definitely. And while the Jace buff definitely is made most here by Joshi as well as the Team Philippines, and him being the key player definitely highlights the performance of this amazing player of Nigma Galaxy, and we are definitely looking forward to more plays being made here by not only Joshi but by the rest of Team Philippines after their magnificent game here in game number 1. And I believe that is going to be if we're now here in our first match. I mean, Team Vietnam, they tried their ways. They tried the Nautilus in the jungle, which honestly for me as well, I didn't see that much impact. It's aside from the tankiness, and some crowd control. But in the early game, what I really expect from the Nautilus is definitely those ganks coming through to try and dominate one or two lanes for Team Vietnam. But that's not what we saw earlier, and we saw more proactivity towards the Philippines. So congratulations to them.
That's right, and I feel that we're going to hop onto a very short break here, Giang. And as we go back, we will be witnessing match number 2. So guys, do not go anywhere.
Oh, I believe we still have a few seconds to go before we actually hop on to our short break. So make sure to support in the comment section the teams that are participating here for today's games. And of course, we are gonna be back in a short while. This is Giang and Oculus, your shoutcasters. You're watching Southeast Asia Esports Championship. We'll be back. And welcome back to the Southeast Asia Esports Championship 2023. And after that fantastic game number one, we are now going to be heading down to our next game for today, Cambodia versus Singapore. And we are still your shoutcasters for today. My name is Gyong and Otolus.
Hello. But yes, this will be featuring I would say, the home court team, the home team for the upcoming SEA Games, Cambodia. They will be facing against the bronze medalist from the last SEA Games Wild Rift Men's Division in Singapore. So a lot to unpack. But when it comes to advantages as to who I think is the favorite to win this matchup, it's going to be the Singapore squad, just because they are fielding a roster that knows how to play off of each other. They still have a very good jungler in Shinsekai. They have Jingai and the company, right? So the squad of Singapore is nothing to belittle. Meanwhile, on the other side, Cambodia has a lot to prove. So we're going to wait and see as to how they're going to perform against one of the best teams in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's going to be a tough one for them if ever they are not that much prepared to match the performance here of Team Singapore. And we have yet to see, how they are going to be matching against them so far here in this game. And we talked about this as well, Oculus, during the moment we started the live stream. Team Cambodia and Team Laos will need to do a lot here for today's games and also for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, of course. How do they penetrate through the experienced squads is something that we have to watch out for. Again, if we are the coaches of the team, I believe that Cambodia does have a Filipino coach. I think Coach Link still is at the helm, at least for this game. So I know that Link is doing a good job in spearheading this 5-man squad of Cambodia. And I feel that when it comes to mechanics, they can stand against the best of the best. But when it comes to handling the pressure, being able to perform at your best when it comes to stage games, that's where we will have to question Cambodia just because we don't know how they will perform in this stage games or in this live events, especially against the best of the best.
They have a lot to prove, definitely here in today's games. This will serve as a platform for them to demonstrate how they are going to be able, or how capable of them to match against these other regions performing right now, especially Team Vietnam, Team Philippines, Team Singapore being very prepped for today's matches. In preparation, of course, since this tournament is just a spice up event here for the SEA Games later on in the next couple of months, and this is a way as well for the teams to demonstrate their skills and talents. The road to the top spot here, and as well as securing the top the bunk of the prize pool, but also having, like what you mentioned, having their names being listed as the top performing team is definitely something being looked forward, not only by the players but also the overall team itself, to just make sure that they remain on the top and basically tell everybody that no one can beat them, or it will take a while or take so much effort to take them on.
For the viewers as well, this is going to be an exciting experience to watch Wild Rift Esports in just one weekend. It's action-packed. Again, that's 10 BO1s for days 1 and 2. And on day number 3, which is called the final stage, it will be a series of best of 5s, single elimination. That is Giyang. But if there is also another thing to consider when it comes to this tournament, is that this will be not just a proving ground for Cambodia and Laos, but also something that they can actually get experience from. Again, I'm not 100% sure if the scrimmages between Cambodia and the other teams in Southeast Asia are at an all-time high. We all know that in order for you to be able to book some scrimmages, you have to have certain level of resume,
like credibility, right?
Yeah, credibility before they even bother scream against you.
They have to be interested in you as well before you get their attention. You get to scrim with them.
True. And now this is their time to show to the whole world, to the whole of Southeast Asia, that, hey, you know what? We are the real deal, and you might want to practice with us, and so on and so forth.
Oh, I mean, this is the way. Let's see if Team Cambodia can do it right now. And well, this is going to be a nice matchup as well. Team Cambodia versus Team Singapore, and they are going to be matching with everybody here for sure, and try to gather as much information as they can. Maybe pull up a couple of wins as well, since I don't know. Maybe they can actually do it, but given the circumstance, we are kind of led to assume the dominance here by the other three regions so far. And I always like to be proven wrong in this case. I really like those redemption stories, and also those build up as well on the David and Goliath stories, something like that. And hopefully we do see some of that here in today's matchup, and also in today's games, because that's what I like, honestly, because it's also natural for us, especially us casters, making some analysis, making some predictions along the way. Even before the match even starts, we kind of have an inkling on who is actually going to be winning. But sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes that happening makes us feel excited more on the next time we do see the teams performing, or going to fight.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, being proven wrong is one thing, but I want to prove it. I want to prove myself right most of the time. Although my name is Auto Lose, I hate losing. So let's go into the draft here, Giyang, as we start. The very very heated matchup between Singapore and Cambodia.
Mm-hmm. Really excited for this, for sure. It is Team Cambodia versus Team Singapore in her first match for today's set of games. Definitely gonna set the momentum, the pace here for both of the teams. So and see how they are going to be performing in their first match after witnessing the first battle, Team Vietnam and Team Philippines. Definitely they are also taking notes of the other games that they are witnessing, and also along the way here, along the way for today's games and tomorrow, to kind of adapt the strategies towards their favor as well.
Of course, of course. I mean, to take something from your opponent is one thing, but to take something from game number one is also another, right? Oftentimes when it comes to this tournaments, Giyang, we often see, the first match, the first few matches dictate the overall meta of the game, the overall approach in the tournament. And we saw in game number one as to how busted Jace is still in this current meta. And there is also another showing of a tank in the mid lane, which is Cinched, some champion that was very popular a couple of months ago, that just fell off by a bit. Will there be another showing of that for Cambodia or for Singapore? As we look into the roster representing Cambodia, we have Rin, we have Jim, Ken, M Sing, and Nick. I would be pronouncing it as Nick. If you want to correct me, just let me know via the comment section, and I will be more than happy to do so.
Mm-hmm. These players are going to be the ones setting it off here for game number one on Team Cambodia, matching Team Singapore, which is very much ready as well here for today's set of games. And, we talked about the momentum. We talked about first match already here. And Team Cambodia, I'm looking forward to seeing them perform, definitely. And for the viewers as well, watching in the live stream, please do show your support to whatever team or region you are rooting for. Of course, they definitely would experience, would love to see your support as well as us. We love seeing your support towards the teams right now doing their very best to represent their region.
I feel like that I've already seen M Sing once before. I've casted M Sing once before, so there is. I'll check my notes as to if I've really casted this guy. But if I've really casted this guy, then that just means that he's like the big brother of this Cambodia team. On the other side, we have Singapore. This is basically, the best team from the Singapore that we've witnessed, even back in the season one of Wild Rift Competitive, in where we saw three members of this squad go with the Alliance. Jinkai, Shinsekai, or SSK, and JK is actually manning the top side of the map. Meanwhile, Raven, WJ, and Soul will be in the mid and the bot lane. Again, guys, to just refresh your memory, Singapore was the bronze medalist in the SEA Games last year. So do not count the Singapore team out.
And a big credibility for sure here towards this game. And big honor for sure here for Team Cambodia to be able to match upon them right now in this first game. A big challenge for sure, a big mountain to climb, heading towards game number or their first game, but definitely something worth a nodie of them for sure. And look, I'm also looking forward to seeing how they are going to be adapting for today's game as we, are heading down towards the picks and bans. Team Cambodia going to be on the blue side, the Team Singapore on the red side. So first pick priority for Team Singapore. Let's see how they are going to be limiting the champions here for Team Singapore. Looks like it's going to be the fighters era here taken away.
Of course, Bruisers, Riven, take away the Riven, take away the Kneel, all those pesky champions that can really be so flexible and still has a scaling component onto them. Has to be removed. Singapore responds right away with the Aatrox ban. SSK is also a very good Lee Sin player, and also Kazakh. So those are two champions that Singapore can default back to if they want to, show their mechanics, show their chops. Also, I realized that Singapore is also one of the teams that really loves their Twisted Fates. So we could be seeing Twisted Fate showing up at least in this game number 2.
Maybe, though it's
Maybe.
not really what we not really would
Maybe?
see or
Okay.
we would like to see so far here in most of our games. But I guess if they can make it work, then they should maybe try it. Team Cambodia does possess the first priority, first to pick here, and well, a lot of champions are present here. They can actually go for the Karma if that would be their way, or maybe just go with one of the most OP champions
Ooh.
right now, especially witness in game number 1, the Jace, picked up here by Team Cambodia. Really
Also,
nice pick.
True, and also a very flexible champion. You can play this on the jungle, you can play this in the mid lane, or even in the Baron lane. But Singapore responds properly this time by getting a lane bully in the Renekton. Also, as an engager, going for the Gragas, Senna is still open. So if Cambodia decides to go for that Senna play, that will also be an option for them, and will be, a problem for Singapore. But look at this draft from Cambodia. Very good 2 picks. They have the
I love
Jace.
it.
They have a stabilizing factor in the Wukong. So the question is, will I go for Senna? Because I feel that this is already a Senna uncle or a Ziggs uncle.
They can actually get it here for themselves, and also trying to take it away from Team Singapore. A lot of champions are also available. Karma, Ziggs, if they want to up their magic damage. I like the pick on the Galio. So much crowd control present here for Team Cambodia now to leverage in on the Jace pick.
What?
But wow,
What?
first
What?
Zeri. Big top here so far. We talked about this champion so much, and the struggles as well being happening usually on the Zeri pick, but now we're going to be seeing it on competitive play.
I want to mention my good friend Omo. Are you approving of this? See, but yes, Zeri has seen the light of day in this game number 2 against Cambodia. Zeri have not had a pop-off moment, at least in the last tournament that we casted Giyang. I was waiting for a pop-off moment from the Spark of Zon. We were denied of it just because of how teams were able to play against this champion.
It's
For
difficult.
it's so difficult. But for the information of everyone, the main reason why Zeri did not really have that pop-off moment was because of the assassins left and right and tanks, bruisers that is able to get in the face of Zeri, and Zeri scaling. Zeri very much scales well into
Takes
the
a
late
lot.
game, but
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time.
Uh-huh. Good job by Team Singapore, though, getting some of the champions that can actually help so much or have a big impact in the early game, like Renekton, even the Gragas, and now the Zed being picked up. It's going to be very difficult, though, honestly, to still make it work here, given the amount of crowd control present here on Team Cambodia. Now they pick up the Ashe as well. That is another champion that can also get information and get that enchanted crystal arrow plus the Yone. Oh my god, there's no champion without a crowd control here for Team Cambodia. Everyone has something to interrupt the movements here of Team Singapore.
And meanwhile,
I think-
Singapore is doubling down. They want to have an enchanter.
Low PC meta.
Yeah, Yumi plus Zeri. Because why not? You dominate the lane, you accelerate your Zeri, and you basically win off of that. But yes, you're right. I mean, just looking at the draft, I'm actually a fan of the draft here by Cambodia. They have a very good balance of team fighting and split pushing as well. If they are able to dominate the early parts of the game, then Singapore would have a harder time in pulling off their composition that centers around their Zeri. We'll see though. This is still, a David versus Goliath matchup. That I feel that this is still Singapore's game to lose. But Cambodia's draft overall has given them enough tools to actually win this upset.
Yeah, I think Cambodia's composition is really scary. So much crowd control, late game presence as well, frontline power, follow up global presence with the hero's entrance, and even with the enchanted crystal arrow, Team Singapore has to find ways definitely to gain the momentum in the early game, because yeah, you have bullies with the Renekton, with the J, with the Z, you have the Gragas as well to try and get those lanes and try to interrupt some of the aggressive playstyle here of Team Cambodia. But with the Zeri pick, it's going to take a lot of time, a long time for sure, for him to scale up. And well, let's see if it's gonna be going well here for Team Singapore. Definitely, I am having my thumbs up here for Team Cambodia with their draft.
Oh, definitely make that a double thumbs up because so far, I mean, the draft alone gives me hope that they have what it takes to get an upset against Singapore. But with what's happening right now, they are so confident in putting Raven by his lonesome in the bot lane, and now WJ, since he have seen that Rin is by himself. There is no reason for this cat to be on the top side, and he's now going to follow his buddy Raven in the bot lane.
Yeah, definitely he has to be with Raven, because Zeri will have, Raven will have a hard time clearing out the wave if ever, due to all those spokes present here from M-Sing and Rexnick, because they can just try to reduce his HP very low and then ask for a gank from Jim later on, maybe from Ken even, given the long range capability of this Jace. And Team Singapore overall will maybe just try to have a peaceful time in the bottom lane. Raven, though, doing some work here nonetheless.
Shinsekai on the Gragas as well. So this could mean that this is an AP Gragas. They actually lack a lot of AP damage. I mean, I know that Yumi is mostly built as an AP nuke damage champion, but looks like that we have a trouble in the top lane. Rin is struggling mightily against Jinkai. Jinkai already is still at 90% HP, meanwhile Rin less than 20%. This could be a potential dive, but the jungler is actually on the bot side for Singapore. So Singapore will be happy in just putting out the pressure against Wukong in the Baron lane.
Yeah, that's already a slight win here for Team Singapore, having Jinkai win here and basically bully Rin here in the top lane. We're even seeing Jim just hovering there as well, just to help him out, and that gives some information as well to Team Singapore, especially on the latter times, because if this continues to happen, if the bully still continues here onto Rin, that's not gonna look good here for Team Cambodia on the other lane, since Jin might need to constantly go towards him. Cat takes a bit of damage here from a Rexnick, and will need to just attach to Raven again.
Yeah, again, the laning dominance. Oh, Raven did actually pop his Ghost and Flash off screen. So there is...
And no! First blood! WJ as well will just get taken down. A sad day for the kitty.
No mana.
And actually the barrier pops off. Soul as well, and this Sekai.
Oh, he's dead!
Got the kill on
arrow?
Ken. Oh no!
Okay, there was an enchanted crystal arrow off
screen.
Fate Seal!
Oh, the stun though!
Not
enough! Sekai helped the body slam, saved Soul in that instance.
Right. Lucky for Soul, he was able to survive that very good Fate Seal coming from Jean. But yeah. Again, Singapore's lineup is centered around Raven's pop-off moments later in the game. And it's not a good start for them, surrendering lane kills to the opposing side, M-Sing. And of course, the Rex Snake was able to get a kill. We could see the very good enchanted crystal arrow
From
from
tree.
downtown. No flash available for the cat. Also has a very low movement speed, and I feel that that's a blind arrow because at that point, Fog of War should already be enabled. So yeah, kudos to Rex Snake. Just showing his arrow chops.
Yeah. And leverage in here for Team Cambodia. Definitely that was not expected by Team Singapore. But also, given their standing or given the situation here in the bottom, I don't think they shouldn't be also trying to be too aggressive here since, the Galio can do wonders. It has a lot of crowd control, especially now that he has this hero's entrance. It's going to be very difficult for them to do the work. Shadow Crystal Arrow once again here, this time onto Sin Skies. Jim is now in the area. Fate Sealed onto one, but here comes Ken as well with a shock blast. Hitting Raven. That's gonna be the burn. Almost getting the kill, but now as they overextend, Team Cambodia explodes. Team Singapore pummels them back.
Raven survives that engage, and with 4 people sent by Singapore to respond to the aggression by Cambodia, it was the counterplay needed by Singapore to at least tone down the advantages by Cambodia. And look here, Kiyang, now they're in the lead. It's actually, for me, it's actually a bit overzealous for them going for that aggression. One thing to note that's very easily telegraphed by Singapore. You can see that they know how to play against the Yone. They did not stick as a team. They wanted to distance themselves from each other so that the Fate Seal would only be connecting onto one. But there you go. Singapore, with that advantage, is now setting their sights over to the Rift Herald.
Arrow gonna be connecting though. This time Rin is gonna be joining the fight.
Easy.
The Cyclone doing a lot of work in the front line as well. They take down Jinkai, going now towards Raven, but actually the kiting is starting to work. The cast a little
man
with a body slam onto 3. Does commence here, but a Fate Seal is just too much. Here comes Raven popping the ult. Can he actually get the outplay? He gets a double. Now chasing onto Jim, gets the triples. Fate solo bound. Will it do the work here? Raven tries to go, but a quadra kill by Raven stops them all.
Dude, now this Zeri is already at the busted level right away. With just Trinity Force, he was able to do so much damage. A lot to unpack in that team fight alone, but then again, the pristine positioning, the ultimate being casted here by Zeri was actually enough for them to get that team fight win, and all of a sudden Singapore is in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they're taking control of this game. Let's check out that replay and how it actually happened. And Raven actually did tremendous work there, kiting away, and due to the slow, especially by Shinsekai as well, it gave a lot of space here for Raven to just continue with the kiting. The triple body slam was pristine. Jim did a really good work, but no follow-up was made there by the rest of the members. So unfortunate there for Team Cambodia. Now they go towards the top. The cask will get Rin. They even get the tower here. Big swing here by Team Singapore. Well, Team Cambodia will get the Ocean Drake, but again, another kill. Unfortunate.
Yeah, and now Singapore is just mopping the floor of this match. 9-3 in the scoreboard, and is already at 5k gold lead. Would be able to assist this Rift Herald onto the second lane tower. This could be another tower for the side of Singapore, and there you go. What a swing here for the Singapore squad. Kiang, it's a very huge win. And as you broke down the replay, I just saw and was just reminded by SSK. Again, he's like the best jungler in Singapore, one of the best players as well. Arrow connects onto one, but that doesn't matter. Raven, again, was given of a quadra kill and still has a Yumi to boot. So you can easily say that the kiting of this champion is already on a busted level, just elevated furthermore by the cat.
Yeah, true. And also, I love how you mentioned the Shinsekai there. SSK doing tremendous work, not only saving Soul a while ago in the mid lane, he managed to take the aggression of Jim in the bottom lane fight, allowed them to secure that double kill a while ago, and also in the team fight in the Rift Herald. Just tremendous work overall by this jungler of Team Singapore, helping them get this 5k gold lead now at 8.5 minutes. And now Raven is having the time of his life. After that quad, I mean, that is a big chunk of gold handed over to him. Plus, he has the Yumi, he has a Ghost and a Flash. That's so much mobility. And now they're
Oh no.
ganking bot lane. Arrow gonna be
Edge.
connecting for sure, but what can you do? That's
Yep.
still a dead Ken.
Yeah, and you can see the inexperience by Cambodia showing, at least in the 5 minute mark to the 8 minute mark. Ever since that fight in the Rift Herald, everything was so bad for Cambodia. But SSK,
Oh, yeah, Cyclone into the face seal. That is a big combo already. JK trying to escape,
Alright.
but he will not be saved here by WJ. It's
Good
now
counterplay.
Rin gets a kill as well. That is 3 kills
Oh.
already. A big swing and definitely a punished overextension.
Arrow?
Now with
Oh,
the
he
arrow
connects.
connecting, MC is just going to chain CC, and now they got all the shutdowns, trimming down the gold lead to now just 3k.
is this a caster curse, Guillaume? Because
We
if I've ever seen
complimented
one,
them
this
so
could be
hard.
it. I mean, yeah, I was saying that Singapore was actually in the driver's seat, doing a lot of good plays one after another, and all of a sudden they decide to dive under 2 towers or between 2 towers and was immediately punished by the draft by Cambodia. But overall, though, yes, that's a good momentum breaker, and if you're a fan of Cambodia, you'll be happy with that. Still, the lead is on the side of Singapore. Raven, I believe, or if I'm not mistaken, is already at 2 items or closing on that 3 item
Arrow?
power spike. MC?
Yeah, big chain CC. Tensekai made significant performance already, and they just wanted to take
No
it
jungler.
away from the equation. Yeah, with no jungler present here for Team Singapore, this is a free Left Herald for Team Cambodia. Well
Easy.
played.
Yep. Now they can decide to even the tower count. You can see that Singapore is scrambling to make their presence felt. Wants to get the bot lane tower at the same time. Just plant down the vision on the red quadrant of Cambodia. Cambodia, no, decides to hold off their Rift Herald. They want it on a more juicy target. Possibly, the second tier tower in the mid lane. But all in all, just the decisiveness and just the engaged potential coming from Cambodia, catching SSK out of position. And we also have to remember that SSK is running the AP Gragas. He's not going to be very tanky. Radove just completed, Lichbane completed. Yes, he's going to dish out a huge amount of damage. But with one arrow, you can expect that he's going to die instantly. No stages
True.
as well. So there's really no way for him to buy enough time for his squad.
So he's going for burst here. It can work at times, but he has to be very careful, extremely careful, because now with him, going for AP, it basically says here for Cambodia that if they engage properly, if they take down Sensekai as well, there's no AP damage present anymore for Team Singapore. Plus, there's no frontline. So that will be a big deal here for this red side team. And SSK has to play it very, very safely. We saw him countless times making the plays here for Team Singapore. But after that big upset, on the top side river, he has to make sure not catch any more arrows.
5 seconds. Infernal Dragon is up. And you can see recalls already happening for the side of Cambodia. I feel that this is going to be a 4v5 at least in the next few seconds. SSK already has stasis available, so there is a way for him to buy some time here. Hawkshot, information gathered by Cambodia. M-Sing trying to engage onto Jinkai, misses. The Infernal Dragon is half out already.
Yeah, good split up there by JK, trying to draw attention, but no, Team
Can
Cambodia
engage.
will still go in. Hero's entrance as well, all those crowd controls, but they cannot reach
Raven.
Raven. It's
Oh,
now
no.
starting to pop up,
Oh,
pops
no.
in the ghost. Now they transition towards JK, but yeah, you get the crocodile, but can you get the Zeri? He is now being the one to chase down these squishy members of Team
Oh.
Cambodia. Rexnick tries to slow them down,
He's
but
going
they
back.
are just
He's going
going
back.
3 versus 4,
He's going
3
back.
versus 5 here. They get the Yone. Now Rin has to fall back. The slows are coming
no.
in. The speed boost from the Yumi. Rexnick trying to slow them down. The flash in
No more
though
tower.
by the Zeri. Gets Raven to get this kill as well. They're just messing with them right now. Team Singapore, Team Raven here, popping in the Zeri plays. And what can you do when the Zeri's on top of you? You just fall down to the ground.
True, now they can even eat this Infernal Dragon for dinner. And again, what a showing from Singapore. Cambodia's decisiveness, you can see that there's like 2 decisions that was made by the team. One half of the team wanted to go for Raven, while the other half wanted to go for Jinkai. And that indecisiveness did actually cost him a lot. I know that Cambodia was already in a very good position to at least turn things around, but with that team fight alone and with gifting over an Infernal Dragon to Singapore, looks like that we have the lead swing back to Singapore once again.
Yeah. Big turnover once more here by Team Singapore. Goal lead still just a little here, but in terms of the scaling, it's now looking really well here for Team Singapore, especially for Raven. After that instance, well played as well by Jinkai, you know, splitting the team up, and due to the reduced amount of engage towards Raven, they couldn't pin him down. It would take a lot to actually take him away, especially with the protection of WJ, with the protection of SSK as well, and also the flash and the ghost. You need everything to be thrown at him.
Yeah. It's so hard to reach Raven, and I think you can actually make a case of him going for Quicksilver Enchant rather than going for the Stasis. Arrow misses. No reason for Cambodia to follow through. And also one thing to note here, Kiyang, Raven is already at level 13. You can say that the Lightning Crash is already at maximum level, giving him more damage output potential. This is an exciting time because I did say that there has been no pop-off moment for the Zeri yet. We were graced by the presence of the Zeri with a quadra at the first 5 minutes of the game. And with all the items completed as well right now, and all the levels gifted over to Raven, it's easy to say that there could be another pop-off moment waiting to happen for the Singapore's marksman here, Young, and I cannot wait for that to happen.
Yeah, eyes on Team Cambodia and on how they are gonna be trying to make their way inside the composition here of Team Singapore. With the arrow not connecting, it's not looking good here. Again, that's a breathing time for Team Singapore to get those resources and help Raven scale up even more. Even the other members here of Team Singapore just getting all the gold, as we see JK just getting the push there down on the bottom lane despite the efforts of Ken. And now they're heading towards the Baron.
This is melting fast. Hawkshot is not available. Cambodia does not know this is happening, but they're sending someone over.
Arrow not connecting towards Raven, but they did draw them away from the Baron. And Jinkai still pursuing bottom lane, and it's giving such frustration here towards Team Cambodia. They do get the reset, and they do stop the Baron takedown here of Team Singapore. And that's already a big deal, but it will still be repeated here, time and time again.
And Raven, I believe, already has runes completed as well. So, I mean, 3 items there. What's next? What's good? Boy, that's what she's always going to say. It's going to just be a nightmare for Cambodia unless they are able to find the right engage and pile all the crowd control onto Raven. Oh, Jinkai.
So they go towards Jinkai, but that will send Singapore to take this Baron. And it will take a time for Team Cambodia. Okay.
Oh, Soul!
They
Soul
actually
is dead!
go here. Yeah, that's gonna be huge. Soul tries to flee, but he won't
Cambodia.
be able to. Here comes Rin with a second Cyclone. Raven trying to start the kiting, trying to stack up the passive. And it's dealing a lot of damage, especially with Runan completed. Can they go for him? Rin is taking a bit. Now Raven closes the distance. They pop the spaces. Here comes the arrow, the flash away by Raven, and they just disengage for now.
I was holding my seat here, Gang, because I thought that I was a 2v5 moment, a montage moment for Raven. But again, when talking about the cooldowns of ultimates here in Wild Rift, it's so fast. To a fact that Arexnic is already able to throw another arrow. They're going to force this. I'm not a fan of this, but you know what? They're taking this 5-man strong on the Baron. Yep. They're spotted by the Scuttle Vision.
They are spotted, but I think Team Singapore won't be able to steal this. Good attempt though by Raven. But they will still secure this Baron up for Team Cambodia. Really good play, but they have to escape. Team Singapore just eyeing on them, maybe try to interrupt the recalls, but yeah. They will be unsuccessful. They will just try to transition towards this dragon.
In 1 minute and 40, the Baron buff will expire, and so SGP decides to mitigate some damage and get their second dragon. But Cambodia, if they play this correctly, if they go for a 1-3-1 split up, or maybe even a 4-1, they can wreak havoc to the towers of SGP. And that could actually give them enough advantage towards, the ensuing Elder Dragon fight that will start soon. Raven, though.
Oh, no!
Arrow connecting!
Oh, he's the burst! Oh no! That's a big blunder there for Team Singapore! He got too greedy. The cat is dead as well. With the Baron buff, Team Cambodia can just swing from now.
And now MSIN
no.
also going to die. No
but
spaces available for him. Tower broken down as well in the mid lane. But that's okay. If you're Cambodia, you'll be happy with that. You were able to dish out the lethal blow to Raven and his support. There's no flash available for him, and Cambodia knew that there's no flash available for Zeri. Immediate combo. And this is what we said earlier, Kiang. If you pile all your crowd control onto Raven, it's a lot easier for them to execute this champion. I mean, the question is, what is his enchant? Because I feel that, in order for them to have a better chance in winning this game, Raven has to build the Quicksilver enchant.
Yeah, true. I mean, he is still sticking with the Zonia's Hourglass, or the Stasis, but it's not really canceling those crowd controls. And Team Cambodia, they're very capable of layering those CCs. Now they're trying to chase down Rin, which will still be able to escape. I mean, he is able to tanking a lot of damage. Speaking of damage, Jim actually is dealing quite a lot. And with this Elder Dragon, it's gonna attract both of these teams to just be here for sure. But eyes on Team Cambodia, the arrow
misses.
Almost connecting.
That's okay. In the next 10 seconds, it's already going to be up. I mean, that's the name of the game. But if you're Cambodia, you have to be wary of the top lane push that is happening right now. There's a lot of minions on the top side of the map. This is the inexperience that we are talking about when talking about, the team from Cambodia and even Laos. Singapore is taking advantage of the macro that they have. RX Nick trying to recall, but will be spotted by the ward. Now Jinkai is on the top side.
They're starting
Dragon being started.
Yeah, Team Singapore wants to draw attention towards Team Cambodia and force them into using any of their ult. And they can time it from there. But now they actually ditched the dragon. JK doing a lot of work there towards top side, even diving under the tower. Can he actually get a kill? No, he doesn't. GA has been popped, but Rin is here. MSing as well. And that means Team Singapore is starting the Elder Drake. Jim is trying to do his work to cancel them off, but now they actually turn on to him. Now Raven is going on the front line, doing a lot of work. Soul and bound into the Fate Seal, but not doing the damage that he is supposed to. And now Raven is online. SSK gets a double. He is on a killing spree, and Team Singapore might just get this Elder.
And might get the win as well in the process. Raven now hits like a truck. I feel for Cambodia, they did almost everything correct, but in that one moment that they were forced to make a decision to either defend the tower on top side or contest the Elder Dragon, Singapore took advantage of what we call the experience that you cannot have without playing like 1,000 games competitively, which Singapore team does have, especially dating back to their days in League of Legends PC. Now they're going for the 2-for-2 special. Was able to get the Elder Dragon and will be able to get the Baron buff as well. I think this is already a GG go next angle here.
My.
Singapore may have checked all the check marks needed in order for them to secure another win.
Okay. Yeah, just cancel the recall, but still fast recall nonetheless. So that's everything that they wanted. Everything being gotten here by this team. Is that an Amaranth's twin guard that the Zeri picked up? Yeah, it's a yeah. So
I mean, again, from the tweet that I read, I think that was from Darkbreaker. It's in a very busted level right now that even marksmen can actually build that item and would still be able to be very impactful. Oh, a very good counterplay. Soul hasn't had the best game so far. You can see in his record 1-4-3, but it doesn't matter because you have Raven.
Yeah, and 3 people, 4 people here in the mid lane. They're just gonna be going
Oh,
for the end. That's a lot of damage
half
onto the
way?
Nexus, and I think there's nothing that Team Cambodia can do. Team Singapore cleans the floor off, and we'll take game 1.
Of their favorite matchup. Congratulations to SGP. What a showing. What a showing for the Singapore squad. Again, still a lot of things to fix considering how it happened. A lot of good things also to note for the Cambodian team. Feel that they just need, a little bit more decisiveness in order for them to really push over the top. It will be an exciting day for them overall. It's a learning day. It's a learning process, and it's what we call growing pains whenever you're facing against the best teams here in Southeast Asia.
I mean, we saw Team Cambodia try to do their best in this game, and we saw them even having the lead at some point in the game, but I mean, the quadrukill is definitely a big factor there of Raven. I think the moment he got that quadrukill, it's GG, almost
It's
GG.
Yeah, I mean the win rate did actually boost by like 20% or 30% in favor of Singapore just off of that 5-minute team fight. But you can see that Cambodia did actually play, to their strengths. They went for very good engages coming from Arexnix Ash, followed up by a lot of crowd control available. At one point, they were able to catch Raven defenseless in the mid lane. They were also able to, do some damage against Shinsekai. But again, SGP maximizing the vision game and, forcing Cambodia to make a decision at the Elder Dragon fight. Past 20 minutes, it's the situation that is so hard to practice, especially during scrims, because not every game reaches that mark. And it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice matches in order for you to be comfortable. But you could see that Cambodia did actually start this game very, very well. A very good arrow coming from a Rexnick, very good snipe, blind arrow connecting onto the cat.
Yeah, and I think this is where we saw Raven securing that quadrukill, despite all the efforts there of Team Cambodia. and props to Shinsekai as well.
Yeah,
Him
course.
being the ultimate
beast.
bodyguard for the team of Team Singapore, helping the team just have that safety net. And despite him being, having the AP build, he was able to protect everyone. So many attempts of Team Cambodia to get back the lead, get something out of anywhere, and they were able to even secure this 3 kills out of the fight, even landing a shutdown towards Raven after him trying to go over the area of his friends. But yeah, it was still just not enough. Especially, I mean, this just basically shows the discipline and the amount of experience that Team Singapore has. The traps that they have laid out here for Team Cambodia that they have took, unfortunately, that gave Team Singapore the opportunity to take the objectives for themselves and force those fights for Team Cambodia.
And there was also a ward that was in that brush. When Singapore was threatening the Elder Dragon, there was a ward that was spotting the members of Cambodia. Those are the small things that they have to consider heading into the next matches that they would have. They have to clean those out because with that little information being gifted over to the other team would know how to capitalize, right? And Giang, again, it's the experience that we're talking about. It was a very good showing for Cambodia, but I know that deep within their hearts, they wanted to win. That was a very winnable game for them, and they fell short. But that's the learning experience that that they can come up with. I guess we could say it's moral victories for them as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see in their next game if there will be any change whatsoever to the results.
I'm just happy that it's not a one-sided dominating game that Singapore had against Team Cambodia. I mean, from the draft itself, I mean, both of us really really loved the composition of Team Cambodia. Their full crowd control, their engages, even their initial plays across the map were very, very noteworthy. I mean, they took the lead in the early on, and even despite Team Singapore getting the quadrukill for Zeri, for Raven, and having the significant amount of gold lead. 7,000, I believe, was the highest gold lead in the mid game. But Team Cambodia was able to trim it down to 3,000, 2,000 from the plays that they have gotten across the map. And that's a good sign coming in from Team Cambodia. Now they have learned more from the traps that Team Singapore has made onto them. I believe they will be looking forward, still smiling towards the rest of today's games.
I hope that they take the positive out of what happened and not focus too much on the negative because again, this is still a mental game that we're talking about. Wild Rift is more about the mental rather than the mechanics, right? Or maybe even a 50-50 behind that because if you are able to perform at your optimum level, if your mental is good, then chances are that you will be able to outperform your mechanics, whatever, right? That's the reason why we have the phrase called mental boom because even if you're the best player, if your mental goes boom, your performance goes down in the process as well.
And also, I love that we saw a big performance here from Team Singapore. I mean, the Zeri in particular, definitely able to kite all the way on all of those fights. And it was very difficult for Team Cambodia to actually chase him down. They were facing all those shots
It's sad.
that Raven was throwing at them. And
Uh-huh.
it's just so challenging for them. Well played here by Team Singapore for sure. And the combination Zeri and the Yumi plus the main bodyguard of SSK on the Gragas. Here we see Raven dealing an obnoxious amount of damage, 37,000, just a little above here onto SSK.
Yeah, I mean, SSK's performance was actually a bit more impressive to me than Raven because Raven had everything working for him. He had a quadra kill, he had the ghost, the flash, he has the cat as well. But SSK, regardless of what is being gifted over to the AD carry, he will make sure that his presence is felt. And that's the double trouble that Singapore currently possesses that would be needed to be solved by the next teams that they will be facing against. One thing to note though, Seoul did not again have the best game out of the 5 members that we have from the Singapore team. But I feel that this is going to just be an upward trajectory for him. Overall, it still is a win for Singapore, and Seoul needs to improve on this if they want to really challenge the best of the best in this.
Yeah, on Team Cambodia, despite this loss, should not take this too hard on themselves. Definitely, MVP is gonna be SSK. Definitely, like what you mentioned, this guy just was making wonders all throughout the game, making the plays offensively or defensively, saving their mid laner in the mid lane, saving Soul, helping out Raven and WJ in the bottom lane when Jim ganked there, taking the Fate Seal for himself, and also the triple body slam, those casts, everything. Just this guy is the ultimate bodyguard for the team of Team Singapore.
I feel that he's still, the best player Singapore has ever produced, I guess. SSK is almost always going to have that carry game. And in this game, he showed that he's able to carry on the AP Gragas. We were a bit worried because his, pathing was towards the AP side. But if you actually are able to perform this well, if you're able to land those skill shots, then yeah, sure. Fire away with all those AP items on your Gragas because the damage per minute of this guy is above 1,500. Insane performance overall from Shinsekai.
Oh, true. I mean, it's always very scary to build AP on the Gragas, especially when your whole draft or your composition on your team doesn't have any frontline, no tanks at all, except for maybe the a little bit on the Renekton of JK, but having the AP build on the Gragas, it's a double-edged sword for sure, and Sakai made those blades hurt more on the enemies, onto the members of Team Cambodia, especially with the amount of damage. Every time he casts the Q, it deals a big chunk of the HP bars there of Team Cambodia. And well, despite this, I think both of these teams are still going to be looking forward positively towards the rest of the day and onto tomorrow for sure. And I believe our next matchup is going to be for Team Philippines versus Team Cambodia. Another match here for Team Cambodia for sure.
Yeah, a back-to-back and an even more difficult matchup. I feel that we're going to a very short break here, Gia.
Yeah, and we are going to be continuing with a match of Team Philippines and Team Cambodia. We'll be back after a short break. We are your casters, Giang and Otulus. All right, welcome back to the Southeast Asia Esports Championship 2023, and we're now going towards the third match of the day. After the fantastic victory of Team Philippines versus Team Vietnam, they're now going to be facing off Team Cambodia after their really good performance despite losing against Team Singapore. Again, we are your stillcasters, Giyang and Otulus, and of course, we are ready for another set of action here for today's game.
Yeah, of course. I mean, another Philippines team, another Philippines game, another Cambodia game, and again, just looking into what happened on game number 2, we saw Cambodia showing flashes of being able to draft well and plan well heading into any matchup. It just so happened, those last minute decisions, past 20 minutes, did actually was the bane for them, and also during the Red Herald fight as well. So how could we ever forget the quadra kill moment for Raven as well? And if Raven was able to pop off on Zeri, guys, beware. Demon Kite is also a very good marksman player. And he could actually request for a marksman from Coach Vansu and Coach TG as well. So yeah, one thing to look forward to this match as well.
One of my favorite ADCs actually is Demon Kite, and from the name itself, Demon Kite. I still can recall his fantastic Vayne performance in some of these small community tournaments way back when it was relatively new. And for Team Cambodia, they should be just look at the polisher movements here, because they actually had a decent amount of performance in their last game against Team Singapore. The only problem was just that small mishap. I mean, SSK and Raven doing wonderful works alongside with WJ there in that 3 versus 4 or 3 versus 5 part. And their attempts in trying to swing back their game was relatively okay as well. So I think they can still go with their usual strategy, but also just avoid those traps this time from the Philippines team, because they're also very capable of setting those traps and laying down those punishes that can just take away the game for you.
Or maybe even better. I mean, Philippines, especially the team that we are going to cast here, Giyang, is one of the most aggressive teams that we
Mm-hmm.
have here in the Philippines. So traps, really, are they going to play defensive? I don't think so. They're going for the hammer right away, or they're going for the axe of the head right away, because that's what we do know about the Philippines team. I think we are going to look into the roster of these teams, and discuss and dissect really is who's going to play in both squads. Again, when talking about the Philippines, it's going to be very aggressive. And the question I do have is, they have a six-man playing for them, right? I mean, they still have
Mm-hmm.
Hyde. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be Hyde that will be playing or Tactical. They've announced that Tactical was already part of the NGX roster. I think that at this point you can actually go for Hyde as well, because Hyde has shown that he's also a very good Baron laner. So if there is a game for you to mix and match your performances, I guess this is one of those games. We could see a substitution for the side of the Philippines, or maybe not.
Maybe not. They can go for what's working already, or they can try to switch things up here against Team Cambodia. It will depend on their preference. I mean, they make the decisions very well thought of, especially in all of their games. And Team Cambodia, well, given the aggressive play style here of Team Philippines, looks like it's going to be a nice matchup here, since Team Cambodia likes to be quite aggressive as well. They will be met with a big storm here from the Philippines team, and yeah, it's still gonna be the same members going in here against Team Cambodia, especially with their performance with a singe as well by Aaron a
Mm-hmm.
while ago, and all those arrows thrown out by Demon Kite.
Yeah, of course. I mean, why change what's not broken? There's also, I mean, Chami was not able to participate at all during WRLA, right? And in the upcoming WRLA, Chami won't be able to play because of age restrictions. So this is more of the time to abuse this guy, because we all know that he's like the prodigy. He's the up and coming Baron laner for the Philippines. To those that are wondering, I believe he's 16 years old at the moment, or maybe even 17. So very young mechanics by the Baron laner of the Philippines. He's going to be paired up, of course, still by Just She, Aaron, Demon Cat,
Mm-hmm.
and Raw. And Just She was also able to show his impact during game number one, getting the MVP, netting the MVP. Will this be a back-to-back MVP for the jungle god of the Philippines? That's a question.
Yeah, especially with this Jace performance. Team Cambodia, they are actually, this is gonna be the roster here of Team
They're switching.
Cambodia, and they're switching their ADC, so it's not gonna be M Sing anymore. It's gonna be fake AD
Uh-huh.
here as well, and let's see if it's gonna turn into a positive result here for themselves, since yeah, they will be trying a different strategy here, though Msing had really good shots a while ago with the enchanted crystal arrow. I think they might want to put fake AD here, so they can go for a maybe much more aggressive composition. Let's see.
I'll see. I mean, I believe it was a Rex deck that did actually play the Ash, but that was on the support role. You're right. But this is going to be a very big mix-up, Guillaume, because again, the Baron laner was actually the one changed for Cambodia. M Sing would be the one manning the
Uh-huh.
Baron lane. And the Baron lane matchup
Oh
earlier, the
really?
Wukong
Huh.
versus the Renekton, it didn't really favor the Wukong. We saw, the big disparity laning wise against the Renekton of WJ. Now we are going to be more scared for Cambodia,
uh
because they will be
yeah.
facing against the most lane dominant player that I've ever seen in the Philippine server. Chami, again, for the reminder of everyone, he's multi times ranked number one in Southeast Asia ladder. So whenever he decides to play ranked games, expect that he goes for the number one spot right away. And now we look into the bans and picks here. Giang, Sen has been banned away. Your favorite champion being closed out right away.
Yeah, unfortunately, we will not see this champion anymore. Cambodia are taking away some of the champions. Yeah, good Jace ban here, because the Philippines will be surely taking the Jace if ever it is open, but that leaves other champions that they can actually use here for this particular game. Chami had a wonderful performance with a Fiora a while ago. Might as well just lock it in here, take it away. On Team Philippines will do. Team Cambodia with M-Sing on the top lane from the Dragon lane. Kind of nervous about him right now. I mean, his performance with the Galio was okay, but him going top side, securing the Wukong, I'm still kind of like 50-50 on him right now.
Definitely, especially against the Fiora. I
Against
mean,
the Fiora.
the Fiora is one of the lane bullies as well. I mean, if Renekton can bully you out of the lane in the Baron lane, expect the Fiora to actually also be able to do that, especially if your vitals are exposed. But I think the Philippines is now going to mix things up. I would be picking the Zed. That is also a very good pickup for Aaron. Now the question is, will it be Aaron that will be playing this, or will it be just she? Because we also saw Philippines run a draft of Zed going to the jungle. So the three lanes are actually secured already for the side of the Philippines. They have the Fiora, they have the Zed, they also have the 8 rocks. So Cambodia, I think it's the time for them to mitigate some enchanters for the side of the Philippines, because this 3 lineup of the Philippines is actually very scary as well.
Yeah, so scary. And I love the flex picks here of Team Philippines. Team Cambodia are going for a good scaling champion, or good scaling champions here, Yone and the Corki. But in terms of a front line that can actually do the work here, they're going to be relying so much here on the Wukong for sure. Taking away the Ashe as Team Philippines takes both mage bot laners out, the Ziggs and the Lux. Not much gonna be left here by Team Cambodia if ever they do want to go on that route. Still, the Vex, though we don't see this champion that much anymore. It did have a really nice combination with the Zed before, but not really the interest here of the Philippines, I think.
I'm not sure as to what pickup would be for Demon Kite here. I mean, Lux Ziggs has been, by the way. Maybe Varus for Demon Kite. We'll see. Lucian has been picked up here for Cambodia.
Wow.
They're going for the double marksman composition, trying to kite away from the Philippines. So they need a very good engager. And Zoe is that. Once a sleepy trouble bubble connects onto one member of Cambodia, that's Night Night for that particular member. There you go. Another engage. Coming from another engaged champion coming from the Philippines. They really needed one or a form of engage coming from the Philippines, and Rakan really fits the bill for the Philippines. On the other side, Cambodia does round up their lineup with another good pickup. That's a Nautilus. So now they have a good balance of damage and crowd control that they want to scale into the late game. The question always remains here, Kiyang. Will the late game even happen, especially against this very aggressive squad of the Philippines?
Yeah, true. I mean, they have so much burst potential, so much side lane control, AoE damage, sure, and also those crowd control chain that they can put off and on team fights, especially with the Aatrox and with the Rakan and with the squishy carries here on the side of Team Cambodia. Yeah, you have the Cyclone, yeah, you have the Fate Sealed, and you have the Nautilus, but they can only do so much in terms of pinning down opponents. You will most likely rely on Emsing on the Wukong, but these squishy and very mobile champions here on the side of Team Philippines is gonna squeeze through all of those traps, all of those obstacles that Team Cambodia is gonna be layering out here in this game and try to sneak towards Ken and fake AD. So eyes on Demon Kite later on. We have witnessed a game where Zoe just one-shots people from one trouble bubble. Aaron though, okay. 2 versus 1. Yeah, I think he's still gonna be able to escape here since our Rexnick doesn't have the dredge line.
Yeah, I mean Ken's choice for the first kill, I believe, was Phosphorus Bomb, but that's actually still enough for them to dominate this early stage, at least during the laning phase. Aaron has to wait for the 45-second mark in order for the fruit to respawn. Meanwhile, Draw and Demon Kite goes goes all out aggressive here in the bot lane. You can see that the choices of their summoners is double combat spell, exhaust, and ignite. Aaron, meanwhile, goes to eat honey fruits. and we'll be able to get his HP back up to 75%. Aaron,
With her, oh, okay. Flash by Ken. And that is already a big win here by Team Philippines. Fake AD as well used the exhaust earlier to try and survive from the aggressive engage of Demon Kite and Draw. So that's already a small win here from the Dragon Laners of Team PH. And Draw going for round
Another
2. This
one.
time, the Corki doesn't have a flash. Pops in the back to try and
One more hit.
survive. But can you actually
Okay.
do so? The flash in, that's a 1-for-1 trade. But Draw is just too deep here and burning to death from the red buff. Jim gets a double, a big win for Team Cambodia.
Another good start for Cambodia. And again, Philippines fighting more than they can chew. They thought that they could easily burst down Ken. They knew that the flash was down, but the barrier did actually buy enough time for Jim to be able to, get all the damage through. Meanwhile, Just G still farming, approaching the level 5 mark, but I expect him to reset pose a threat topside. You can see that the Scuttle Crab in the bot lane has already been secured. Demon Kite and Draw needs to be very careful, but both these champions are also very slippery, especially given the fact that Rexnick is not in the area. I feel that the Philippines still has enough advantage to pressure fake AD out of the lane.
Demon Kite doing a really good job there in that 1v1 duel against Fake AD, actually landing more damage than Fake AD onto him, despite
Jammy.
missing the bubble. Yeah, top
There you
lane is
go,
going to be
level
very
5
difficult
Joshi.
for M-Sing. Fate Seal still
Oh!
connecting. It won't be able to escape anymore. The Death Mark connects, and they will get it
Grand
onto the
challenge!
almost there by M-Sing getting a trade kill, but on the bottom side, that's a
Hazonias.
big kill by Demon Kite.
Oh!
Pops in golden, a Rex stick won't get the trade off. Good job here by Team Philippines. Once more, actually goes in again. Fortunately, Draw was able to get that third aggro.
True. And I knew that from a mile away. Demon Kite was able to pick up a stasis ancient on his kit, her kit. I mean that's one of the reasons why Zoe is so annoying to play against. Not only does she have a lot of mobility, a lot of pokes, she's also able to pick up very crucial items as well. And stasis was so perfect in that exchange. Rexnick, close to level 5. And with level 5 available for Rexnick, he could actually do a complete lockdown on a few members of the Philippines.
Yeah, target one and pin one down. That's the play here by Team Cambodia. And M-Sing and Jim can go with multiple members, but for Alexik, I think he has a big responsibility to help out some lanes and maybe shut down Aaron here, maybe Chami as well. It's gonna be a lot difficult though, especially with the parry available on this Fiora, and M-Sing has been struggling on and on again, despite the
Another
Bramble
dive?
Death that he has picked up. Nothing
Another
can be
dive.
done except for this dive, like what you mentioned. Then yeah, that's a huge chunk with that. But actually, M-Sing survives. No ignite for them. Unfortunately, Chami wasn't able to use it. But nonetheless, Team Philippines will get this tier 1 tower at top.
And that balloons the goal lead to 3K. Just the laning phase alone from the Philippines is able to net them the advantage. And this is what we call, the aggression from the Philippines. They're not going to, falter. They're not going to make you breathe at all. They're going to push the tempo to another level. And you can see the Chami's gold lead has now ballooned to 1.5k. That's good for 1/2 item already against the opposing side. And if you are MCing, yes, he was able to buy some, good counter against Sophiora in the Bramble Vest, but a fully completed Trinity Force plus an Executioner's calling for Chami is a problem to solve for Cambodia. Now, Cambodia does have the package available. They can go for a very good engage onto the Dragon. This could be a 5v5. No, a 4v5 because MCing is on the top side.
So this is still a questionable engage here by Team Cambodia. The package has been used, but not really a good position. Fate Seal gonna be blown up as Draw gets that layer of CC. Now, with Exhaust here onto the Aether's Heal, still gonna go in. Aaron is just a monster here alongside with Chami. No casualties on PH side and everyone dying on Team Cambodia.
MCing leaving his team to dry on the bot lane. And then doing the top lane special. This is what I do. I'll be honest with you. If I'm behind, I'm not going to join my team. to really, impact the team fights. But Philippines knew. The Team Philippines knew that they were outmanned in this particular fight. And as we look into the replay, I want you guys to pay attention to Aaron's way to dash and to hit that knockout onto Ken. Plus the flash in coming from draw. Juicy, and sexy play coming for the Philippines squad. And as you said, it was an almost ace. It was a clean out. 4 people dead for the side of Cambodia. Meanwhile, Jim was able to steal the referral.
Oh,
Edge.
yeah, a good steal, but well, still, it's going to be such a blunder here for the members of Team Cambodia, especially with all those casualties. Suddenly, that's
Solo
a
kill.
6,000 gold lead. Aaron, yeah, solo kills here onto Ken. So unfortunate because you have a double AD, and what can you do on the Aatrox when you're not yet on your full build? Pretty much nothing yet.
Both ADs combining for a 0-6 mark. 0-6 and 2
Ooh.
mark, which is quite rough. As, to simply put it, at 7-minute mark, it's so far from what they want to be at right now at this, first few minutes of the game. And to add insult onto the injury, Philippines still has the Infernal Dragon. And look at Chami, just dicing and slicing MSing.
Ooh. Yeah, and with a flash, still, MSing will not survive. Fate Seal not really sealing anything in that fight as Team Philippines still able to stay alive. And it will take a long time for Team Cambodia to scale up, especially for Ken and Fake AD. Maybe when they do, they have a fighting chance, especially with the amount of damage that they can deal. But given the performance of Team Philippines, I don't think there can be a late game. We're still at just 7.5 minutes, almost 8 minutes into the game. It's too fast of a game here for Team Philippines.
And they're going to gift over the blue buff to Demon Kite. Just more skill shots coming your way, more pokes as well. 256, 1 hit, 2 hits. Now the map is open for Philippines to just take advantage of. The CP Trouble Bubble was dodged away by Fake AD. But now here comes, the horror movie. There's going to be another catch here on the bot
Yeah.
lane, Guillaume.
He tried to survive though for quite a while. Oh, maybe a little.
Big AD and the Rexnick here in the
Overall.
bottom lane. There's a
Alright.
dive, Giyang. There's a dive.
Yeah, not up, and the tower is just so low in HP. There's nothing that Team Cambodia can do. Not even a trade kill, and the tower still falls down. Team Philippines now almost at a 10,000 gold lead against Team Cambodia. Nothing can stop their unstoppable force.
Yeah. They don't have a Malphite but they have an unstoppable force
Yeah.
in them, in their hearts.
Ooh.
I believe. Just Shido is going to be stopped. There you go. Jim with the final hit. Jim has been outperforming for the squad of Cambodia. I mean, during his game number 1 against Singapore, Jim was also able to dish out a huge amount of damage to the opposing team. And in this game as well, Jim has been performing very well. Chami, though, finds MSing, pops a grand challenge, and this is going to be easy.
A long journey. Here comes the other member. I mean, Rexnick tries to help, but what can you do? I mean, that's so much AoE damage. Jim actually deals a lot here towards the 3 members of Team Philippines, but with Wukong down, it's not much that can be layered in terms of CC anymore here for Team Cambodia. So unfortunate. 14-3 and a bubble. That paddles are definitely hurts.
And now, if you're Ken, if you're Fake AD, how do you dish out damage? There's just no way. I mean, the threat of the Zoe spokes, the threat of Just Chi and Chami going in, also Aaron, it's just hard to dish out damage if you're a marksman facing against this well-fight composition of the Philippines. Now, there's just going to be, the waiting game for formalities overall. I feel that, this is close to insurmountable in terms of a goal lead for the side of the Philippines. Now they're going to use the second Rift Herald. And it's just a 10 minutes and 30-second mark here. Like, we are at the point in where we are closing a 1k gold lead per minute for the side of the Philippines. And this is just a one-sided affair. The game against Singapore, Cambodia was able to duke it out and was able to stretch it out up until, the Elder Dragon fight. But if you're facing against a more aggressive, a more decisive team, this is what we expect. Philippines would just play Wild Rift fast to a point, you're not going to be given any much options.
And any resources as well, as Team Philippines gets both Rift Heralds, I believe, and also all the dragons here in this game. All the kills too, as they have this 10,000, almost 10,000 gold lead. Team Cambodia eyes on getting that turret, and with Jim and Aaron.
Two-man
That's
backup.
just so unfortunate, especially with draw on the quickness and the grand entrance. Aaron gets a double, and Sing is gonna be missing so much action as he is being chased away here by the rest of the squad of Team Philippines. Nothing he can do. 4 people dead on Team Cambodia.
And there's no parent for Philippines to actually chew upon. I mean, in the next few minutes, it will be respawning, but you can see that the state of the game is just a one-sided affair. On all sides of the map, Cambodia is struggling to find enough space, enough resource to match up the aggression of the Philippines. And even if they plant the vision, it doesn't even matter at all, right? Bubble connects on to Ken. And if you're Ken, if you're fake AD, it feels so bad to not be able to play Wild Rift that you expect to play. I mean, at this point, they're so far behind.
So behind in this game. Team Philippines just gonna be going in without hesitation. That's a nice double knock of Fate Sealed onto 3 rather, but no impact whatsoever, no follow-up as every member just dies here onto Team Cambodia. Yeah, the unstoppable force, the unstoppable team of Team Philippines, just wrecking them.
2 towers as well. Sing trying to challenge Just she is so comfortable to a point that he knows his limits. He knows that he's not going to die anytime soon. Now they're even getting all the resources available for Cambodia, cleaning their jungle camps as well. And Giang, I feel that at this point, Cambodia, even if they know that the Baron is going to be started by the Philippines will just turn and kill them in the process. So 13k goal lead for the side of the Philippines is just too much to handle, especially at the 13-minute mark.
This is just so sad here for Team Cambodia. There's nothing that they can do but sit and watch as the Baron will get taken out. Team Philippines even going aggressive once more, going on to Sing to give him another nightmare as he desperately tries to go back, but they just continue to go in. One more auto attack, like we mentioned, as Aaron just flips out of the turning, and wow, Fate Seal definitely sealed the fate there of Jim and not the Team Philippines, as they get 4 kills, and that was supposedly just a kill onto Sing, and that leaves only a Rexnick alive. Team Philippines will just ditch the Baron and will go for the game end.
24-3 score count, and Philippines dominating this second game of theirs. $300 secured, all smiles for the Philippines squad. And if you're Cambodia, well, this is a reality check that they are so far away from the best of the best teams in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, true. Such a dominating performance here by Team Philippines. They ended the game in 14 minutes. With a whopping goal lead of 16,000 against Team Cambodia. Definitely a nightmare. They're not entirely different from how Team Cambodia performed against Team Singapore earlier.
Yep.
This time it was a complete mess after being piled on with all those aggression of Team Philippines.
Yeah, and let me just put on my thinking hat for a moment here, Kiang, and just solve one quick glaring problem that Cambodia is facing right now. It does feel that their Baron laners are not really putting up much resistance to the opposing side, not just because of the laning prowess, but also the rotations. You could see that Sing did not stand a chance against Chami. We all know that the Wukong versus the Fiora matchup, it should always go to the side of Fiora, especially if you're going to build tanky. You know that Fiora loves juicy targets or loves tanky targets. Once he gets hold of 1 vital, 2 vitals, it's all she wrote for the Fiora matchup. And if I'm going to think for Cambodia, I would say that, hey, you know what? I think it's the time for them to rethink their priorities and go for a more aggressive Baron laner and on the top side. Maybe even pick up a Renekton, so that
Yeah.
their Baron lane would have an easier time to control the tempo of the game. Because from that point on, you could see just from the laning phase alone, Gio, Philippines was able to get like a 2K gold lead, and on top of that, was able to take down the tower on the top side. That's something that they have to fix and fix real quick.
Yeah, because even with their match against Team Cambodia, we saw the same amount of struggle in the battle lane side.
Uh,
Rin against JK, honestly, was also very challenging for them. So I guess other champions, maybe they should try to adapt onto the other available champions to be used the battle lane. I mean, Wukong, it does a lot of crowd control. Yes, it can be a little tricky to deal with. Yes, but against those other aggressive champions in the Baron lane, simply losing
yep.
twice should be a big lesson already here for Team Cambodia. And I don't think they should be doing it again. This no whoever is gonna go there onto the Baron lane, Rin
Mhm.
or MSing, because that even was
Uh,
very questionable.
yep. This is actually one of the few positives that we can say. Did go for Cambodia because they were able to thwart on the dive attempt against Ken and was able to get 2 kills in the process. But you can see here, this was the 4v5. Sing was on the top side, and Philippines team knew that they have the man advantage, and with the mechanics that they have, the skill sets that they have, this was just easy as 1, 2, 3 for them, diving without any casualty in the process
Mm-hmm.
as well. And yeah, I mean, Philippines, what a showing in games number 1 and games number 3. There will still be 2 matches for all the Philippine fans out there, Philippines fans out there. There will still be 2 matches all across the day for the Philippine squad. They will be facing against the team of Singapore, which did actually win in our prior game, and also Laos team,
Mm-hmm.
later down the day. So yeah, exciting times. Giyong, overall, if you're a Philippines fan, but overall, if you're a Wilder fan, there's a lot of action still in store for us. We are done with 3 games, and we still have 7 games for the day.
Yeah, next up we will have Laos versus Vietnam here. After it's gonna be the first time we are gonna be seeing Laos for today's match. Vietnam, we saw them earlier go against Team Philippines. And they did lose, but they still put up a really good fight in there. And let's see what will happen in that particular match. Well, going back towards this game, Team Cambodia, I think there's another lesson, but this time it's a hard spank onto them, especially with the Team Philippines just completely outmatching and outskilling them all throughout the game. And well, I personally think that maybe they should be trying to determine who really fits solely on their Baron laner, who should be on their Dragon laner, and which champion really should be they using onto that. Because Emsing in this match, I mean, he he only dealt this kind of damage, 78 7,800, a little, just a little ahead onto Arex, though the others have struggled as well. Jim, despite not having the bulk of the damage here onto their team, still was the most aggressive player onto them. But overall, Team Philippines just positive stats here and there.
I mean, just looking at the graph alone, the balanced attack coming from the Philippines, 4 of their members did actually dish out 16,000 damage. So it's actually going to be a lot harder for us to pick the MVP. But I feel that if there's going to be one MVP just because of the godlike performance and godlike stats, Aaron should back the MVP. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. We'll see.
I mean, basically any player from their side has made tremendous work and big impact as
Yeah.
well. Even draw on those crowd controls, on
Sure,
those
of course.
engages. When Aaron was a little in a bad spot, he was there to get that quickness into the grand entrance to enable the rest of the team. So yeah, it's just the typical
Yeah.
Philippines team just doing incredible works in a single game. And definitely this performance will be attempted to be maintained all throughout the rest of the tournament.
Sure. And the MVP goes to, let me guess,
Ten,
Aaron?
ten, ten, ten.
Aaron? Is it Aaron? I think it's Aaron.
I'm going for
there
draw,
you
but
go.
yeah,
No, it's
Aaron
Aaron.
is yeah. So much damage, and also his performance in that dragon fight earlier.
Uh-huh.
So many cancels on the escapes. Basically, Ken cannot escape at all. I think he got hit by all the cues of the
Yeah.
Aatrox. That's how accurate his skill sets are.
Darkin Blade, Darkin Donuts. I don't know. Aaron again with KDA of 18, damage per minute of 1300. No Yumi, no problem. For Aaron's Aatrox. You know what? I just noticed Aaron, does have two A's at the front of his name. So is Aatrox. So maybe this is a champion that was made for him.
Uh-huh. I mean, looking
You get what I mean?
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
just
But,
small things to consider, because I mean his performance was just so superb that I cannot think of anything else to really say right now. I mean, it leaves me
Yeah.
speechless. So I'm going to nitpick his name.
It's in the name already.
Aaron, Aatrox. Why not?
The double A on this game, definitely A plus as well on the performance. KDA, I mean, this is the highest I think that we have seen as well today. Most
Mhm.
have been 2 or less. KDA this time it's a whopping 18, as well as the kill
He was
participation.
godlike at one point. Maybe even reached
Uh-huh.
legendary. Legendary. I'm not.
He was slamming on them, slamming his
Yeah.
Darkin Blade onto anyone that comes his path.
Yeah. And
Overall,
go.
Team Philippines just looking forward to a positive performance in the rest of today's matches. And I do hope Team Cambodia learns more from this and tries to get their win on the rest of the day. They still have 2 more chances for today and a lot more the next day. And what next up, we will have Team Laos and Team Vietnam ganking onto each other and trying to get their wins as well. Let's see who is gonna get their first victory. Will it be Team Laos or Team Vietnam? After Team Vietnam has suffered a while ago against Team Philippines.
I mean, the next match of Laos is going to be facing against the Vietnam, so it's also going to be a tough task. If there's anything positive for Laos and Vietnam, not Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia, it's going to be 4 teams advancing. But we'll be going into a very short break here, Kiang, and as we go back, more matches will be in store for you, so do not go anywhere.
Red team champion slain. Blue team champion slain. Red team double kill.
All right, and welcome back to the Southeast Asia Esports Championship. This time we are now going to be moving on towards the next match, Laos versus Vietnam. And we have Dash right now joining us in the
Hey.
caster's desk. And yeah, how are you, Dash?
Yeah, I mean, it's a work day. Today's a work day. Just got home from work, and right now you guys are working with the broadcast for today. I've seen it while I was moving towards my home. Then now I'm here. We're back, and I saw the games a while ago. Really nice, really great. I've seen Cambodia versus Singapore. Did great. Singapore was able to get the win there. Philippines versus Cambodia. That was a massive game. 25
Yeah.
3. That was just a steamroll at that point.
I mean, both of all of our teams are trying their very best to get the win on their games, but the efforts only occur or can do so much. You have to really lay out the plan and also be on point with your executions. Because I can still recall, Team Vietnam versus Team Philippines. Team Vietnam actually doing really tremendous work against Team Philippines, but unfortunately they couldn't really match the aggression there of Team Philippines, especially when the dive happened in the mid lane under the turret. That was not expected there by Team Vietnam. In the previous game, Team Cambodia against Team Philippines. Unfortunately, Team Cambodia wasn't able to match the energy of Team Philippines. And unlike their match against Team Singapore, this time it was a dominating game by Team Philippines. So I guess with this short break that they are going to be having for a bit while, since their match is a little bit on the latter parts of today's games, they should be trying to collect all the data that they have gathered so far and try to come up with a brand new strategy to get their wins.
Yeah, all I can say though is that because of this last three games that we had for today, we can basically see the power rankings of each team that we have right now in the tournament, and we can definitely see who's on top, who's at the bottom right now, and that is going to be changing. What I like about this double round robin, that could change within tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be the next set of round robins, the next set of games that we're going to be having. So I'm excited to see how these teams will be adapting through what's going to be happening for today, because they're going to be having like 4 fights today,
Yeah.
with some rests in between of them, but still it's something I like about round robin, because everybody has a chance to get themselves
Yeah.
at the top.
Yeah, you have your chance to get on the top. You have, and you get to fight your way towards there. And in this qualifying days, I mean, you get 4 games per day, plus a tiebreaker if you need to set up some scores against another competitor to be a part of the top 4 for the playoffs. You have a lot of chances for sure that you should be maximizing here for all the 5 regions, all the 5 teams, and that are representing their regions right now. And to recall the match of Team Vietnam as well, against Team Philippines, I believe they utilized a really aggressive composition full of crowd control. Only BMM actually had no crowd control in their lineup, because it was a Ribbon, it was a Nautilus, it was a Zed, a Varus, and an Alistar. The Nautilus jungle was a little bit questionable, as said by Nautilus as well, because they, given the playstyle of Beliodas, usually on aggressive champions, the Nautilus was kind of like Faker being forced to use Galio all the time, and
Yeah.
maybe a Morgan. Yeah, it's the same vibe.
Yeah, it's like forcing a player to not use their comfort, which is sometimes gonna be good, sometimes it's not gonna be great, because that does not give them a lot of leeway to make use of their micro skills, especially. So with this, I have seen a Nautilus jungle before too, but on another tournament, but it still hasn't worked. It still hasn't worked. I haven't seen a Nautilus that has worked in the jungle, but maybe in solo queues it would be able to work. But again, this game is gonna be way different for now. It's gonna be Laos versus Vietnam. They're gonna be the ones fighting against each other here, and this is what I like about this, is that Vietnam is one of the better teams, or rather better regions that
Yeah.
we have here in the SEA.
This is why I'm kind of nervous on Laos, Team Laos, and also Team Cambodia, because they're the ones who are kind of on the bottom bracket here, or at least on the performance side, and we have witnessed Team Cambodia's struggle as well in both of the games that they have played a while ago. Laos, this is going to be the first time. And going up against a really strong team of Team Vietnam, it's going to be very challenging for sure against Y1, Meliodas, BMM, Genza, and Akino. Those players are really so strong in their suit, and despite not even going on their usual comfort playstyle, they're still able to construct something out of what they had. And that's the thing about adaptation, my friend. That's something that Laos Esports should be trying to adapt here, as we do see the players here being shown here on the screen: Rapunzel, GeForce One, Blue Moon to Sky, Yananthone, and Triple J.
Yeah, and these players are gonna be an exciting side for me, especially these are players that would want to fight against a team like Vietnam, who is very well known by their own right, by themselves. So proving themselves against a team of this caliber is gonna be one achievement for them. So I hope that they would be able to put up a fight, or at least get a win against Vietnam.
Yeah,
Which is one of the stronger regions here. So Laos would have that chance. I mean, there's no way to go but up for here.
Yeah, nowhere to go but up. Definitely, this should be a learning experience, just like Team Cambodia a while ago on the aforementioned Team Philippines and Team Vietnam, the teams that they have dealt with earlier. They should be trying to get some information across the board, not only from the game that they are facing off right now, but also from the other games. Because this one, Team Vietnam come from. I mean, it's Service Esports, man. They're really strong. They are capable of defeating those unprepped teams, and definitely, if you want to match against them, you should be fully prepared on their traps as well, because they layer traps so well against their enemies, and Team Cambodia was already a victim of it.
Yeah. And we all know how strong this team is. I mean, Y1 is one of the strong
Yeah.
top laners that we have in the tournament, and he could really pair well. I mean, against Just it's still gonna be Just who's gonna be having an advantage, but Y1 would put up a fight on those fights on the top lane. But here, BMM is probably one of the stronger mid laners that we have also in the tournament here, because he knows how to play his rotations. He knows how to rotate around the objectives. And usually, when you get him a Zed, when you give him an assassin in the mid lane, it's gonna be a very, very hard game.
A while ago, it was kind of odd, I would say, when they were matching against Team Philippines, because BMM on the Z wasn't really that much aggressive. And I was actually nervous at that time because they had the Nautilus in the jungle as well, and they weren't.
Oh, okay. I think Young, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, now we're back. So with the bans
Oh.
that we're gonna be having for today, it's gonna be the Gwen, the Aatrox, and the Akali that we have right now. This is gonna be way. Look at the respect that they have here. They have the respect against Meliodas with the Gwen. They have the Akali getting banned because Y1 and BMM plays a really mean Akali. So in the mid lane, they do have a lot of options still. I mean, a Garen is still a good pick. A Renekton would be a good answer here if ever. A Jace is going to be picked for the first one here on the side of Laos, because there's a potential for a Jace here for the first pick.
Cancel Jace, as it is present here. Laos should be taking it up. Definitely. Especially after the buff on the Jace. I mean, like Otulus mentioned earlier, there was no need for a buff on the Jace, but yeah, still
Yeah.
was given onto him. But they are having other interest in sight. The Yone, which deals a significant amount of damage, of course, and gives a big impact as well, especially with the Fate Sealed. But Jace should be available now for Team Vietnam. Actually, still, the Camille being picked up.
Yeah.
No
I
Jace?
mean, that's good, actually. That's actually good. Having the Camille against the Yone, you can't really get away even if you use the Soul Unbound after going for the Hextech Ultimatum. And I like this Zoe second pick, because most of the time when you pick the Zoe on the second rotation, she's going to be banned, because there's not a lot of options anymore. They banned they banned the Senna, they banned the Ziggs. So the only options that they have here is going to be the Lux. And that could be banned with the second rotation.
Oh, there's gonna be a Blue Moon to Sky on the Z here for Team Laos after picking up a Nautilus too. Eyes on really surprising here for Team Vietnam though, as they pick up the Zoe very early on into the picking phase. Jay should be taken away now, but by this point in the second banning phase, given the champions that they have prioritized in the first picking phase. I love the Gragas though, because I can still recall the match where there was a Yona. I believe it was Team Cambodia versus Team Singapore, wherein SSK on the Gragas did so much. We're canceling the engage of the Yone player at that time against Team Cambodia, and it was just a big blunder for them. This time, with the Gragas on the Team Vietnam, a lot of plays can be made open again for their side.
Yeah, and also this is what I'm saying. This is why it's great to go for the pick with the Zoe on the first rotation, because what you'll have here is that the Lux is going to be banned. You don't really have a lot of options after that point. You do have a Zeri, but it's not going to be as effective like what happened during the Singapore game a while back. But here, on the side of Vietnam, they're really well set already. With this composition, they can play another jungler if they may, because there's a lot of engage anyway. A Kha'Zix would be perfect against the Yone, because after the Hextech Ultimator, after that frac, you can just burst down whoever is really close to you guys. But with the Gragas still on their hands, it's safe to say that the engage that Laos has here is not gonna be made easy, and double down on it with the Riven too on the next pick.
Yeah, a lot of execution damage here on the side of Team Laos. The one from the Yone, the one from the Zed, the one from the Riven. Lots of damage can be thrown out. None of which though is AP, so they do need a mage here, and it's going to be the Morgana, which it can do a lot of work. Plus, I guess the crowd control is a big factor here for Team Laos. You have the Dark Binding that can render you AFK for hours, and Team Vietnam has to be very careful in here, since they don't have a really
There you go.
proper front line. Aside from, you do have the Camille, the Gragas, and now the Renekton. Lots of ways can be made here by Team Laos still, especially with their aggressive composition. They will surely be going in, and with the Nautilus and the Morgana, that is a big combination for those crowd controls.
Yeah, with the CCs that they have, it's already good. They do have the DPS. Both of our teams do have a lot of options here. And what I like about this for the side of Team Vietnam, though, is that there's something different here for Vietnam. What do they have is that this Zed against the Renekton is going to be a good pick. Even with BMM, with this Camille in the mid lane, is also going to be a good answer here, because with that, it's not going to be easy for the Zed to go for the snowball. That's why I love having bruisers in the mid lane if it's against a Zed, because that's not going to be an easy lane, rather than having, for example, a Corki illusion in the mid lane. Zed is just going to dominate that lane.
Yeah, I mean, Zed can do wonders, and especially with the amount of mobility on this champion as well, they can leverage down on more picks here all throughout the game. But let's see who's going to be coming on top of this. Team Laos and Team Vietnam trying to get their first win. Only one shall prevail. And let us know in the comment section who are you rooting for sure. Team Laos or Team Vietnam.
Yeah. And with this compositions that we do have, we can definitely see what the Team Vietnam wants to go for here. They want to go for picks. They want to go for the 1v1s. Yes, they don't have a lot of AoEs with their composition, but they can lock down one target, and that's big value already for them. Considering that Laos does have a lot of damage sources, this is going to be good for Team Vietnam, because one down, if they take down one of the DPS sources, it's going to be easy enough, because this bot lane doesn't really deal a lot of effective damage compared to how this other half of the map, the other tree, the trio on the side of Laos, it will be way more significant.
The Morgana might be a problem though to Team Vietnam, especially on Genda's side, because the Sleepy Trouble Bubble can be denied here with the Black Shield. And Team Vietnam, they have a couple of choices here and options for their engages, especially with BMM on the Camille. So eyes on him later on, as well as Akino for their engages, because Y1 is just gonna be looking to bully Rapunzel into the top lane, and we're even seeing Akino first minute rotating already, just checking if ever Rapunzel would go even the tiniest bit of aggressive here in top lane, since Genza is just relatively safe here. Top lane, G-Force 1 is also here, but not much threat being shown yet by both of our teams.
Yeah, and so far, what they can do here is just to take over this top lane. This is a matchup that is not gonna be easy. They had to make a choice. Their choice is gonna go for the top side.
Yeah, double down. Skazix joins the fight. Meliodas blowing them up. Even Rapunzel dies with that ignite, as now Team Vietnam gets 2 in exchange for Akino. It's a sizable lead that they got.
Yeah, great lead. The way they started that fight, though, is that 3 people have already rotated into the top side. Akeno, with that rotation on the top side, that just netted them a lot of space, a lot of advantages here, and that's why they got the confidence. Even if they're not level 5, it's still okay, because Rapunzel was level 3. That's why they're confident that they can take the kill.
Yeah, and it manifested their win as well here towards the top side fight. Now, with the 1,000 gold advantage onto their side, especially with Y1 getting a kill and an assist there. He is already closer towards his first item, and against Rapunzel, that is a big deal for sure in terms of having, you know, control in your lane. We're even seeing him transfer towards the mid lane right now to just match against BMM alongside with their supports. But Laos has to, well, they have to find ways to get some picks here. Here comes G-Force, just doing some damage onto Akino, but not much has been felt here by this Gragas. Can also heal up with the Honey Fruit.
Yeah. And not a lot of things to go for, except for the objectives that's going to be coming up in just a bit. And we said it a while ago, this is going to be a different style bot lane that we do have in the Dragon Lane side of the map. I'm not really expecting a lot of wave clear from Genza compared to what Yanan could bring to the table, because their wave clear is going to be way more massive. But look at the top side.
Another guy
ready to get Blue Moon.
Yeah, Hextech Ultimatum is available as well, so he's immediately locked down under the tower. Triple J though is doing significant work with a good Slayer of CC, so that's a one for one trade, and with the resources sent out by Team Vietnam, it's completely denied. Oh, the Edge line though unfortunately hits a ranged minion, so they won't be able to catch Y1 as Team Vietnam just scatters away.
Force the Desperado out of Blue Moon under the turret, and they weren't still able to get the kill there. They weren't able to pull off the ultimate from Akeno. A cast could have been great to disrupt the Shurikens, but top side.
Yeah, Y1 might just get blown up. G-Force flashes away.
Flash.
Meliodas has his own flash. Getting that trade off as now fight breaks out in the top side river. Akino will use the cast. Here goes BMM. They get the outplay as now Blue Moon looks to just disengage. Vietnam will be happy with that kill.
Yeah, getting another kill, and now bot side. Look at Genza.
Ooh, just one.
Oh!
No! But
He does
he's
have the
still
ult, though.
fast. Yeah. Good kill. Team Vietnam,
Yeah.
2-4-1. In fact, again, and a 4,000 goal lead at 5 minutes into the game. Pretty good here for our red side team.
Really smart to actually go for the counter there, having the Morgana against the Zoe. But the problem there is, if you can't really deal with the raw damage that the Genza could deal with, this is just really hard. Now, look at them, just stalling on this Rift Herald.
Yeah, more members on the side of Team Laos for now, as Genza is still so far
Oh,
away. Meliodas
Kha'Zix
gets
dead.
bursted down. A double kill by Blue Moon is a disaster here for Team Vietnam. Look
Genza.
at Blue Moon just wrecking on them right now. Triple kill, in fact, as they get everything on the board. Only Triple J got taken out. Now that leaves a big responsibility for Genza, but a big damage on the Blue Moon. No slap by RH, so no assist, and Laos will still get this RH.
Yeah, great take from Laos. Getting the kill on Meliodas, Blue Moon was able to make wonders on that kill. Using the death mark, getting the kill on Meliodas, just scrambled the members of Vietnam, and they didn't know what to do. They weren't converged on one target, and that's exactly what they want to do with this composition. They need to go for picks. They need to go for one kills every time, but as long as they don't get a kill on a single target, Laos could just take the advantage there.
Yeah, and they should double down on this right now. That's a lot of kills that Blue Moon has taken in that fight. Quickly having the gold advantage against BMM as well. Now, with the Mountain Dragon being started by Team Vietnam, I think Team Laos are just a little bit too late, since they are also piling on towards top side. with the Rift Helm.
Oh!
Nice cast though on Triple J
Whoa!
and immediately gets deleted across the map.
Yeah, great use of the Trouble Bubble, and that kill was enough to stop them from getting anything more. What's great about this is Laos was able to get a tower on the top side, but look at the gold lead. He's still 3k. Oh, God, flashed in.
Yeah, a dive, nice death mark being used to try and avoid some of the damage.
Blue Moon.
Ignite, not enough to get the kill. Nice outplay here by Blue Moon.
Surviving again and again, but the punishment here is that this bot lane tower is just gonna fall down, and Vietnam is just gonna be happy with it. But Keno, I think he's not gonna be happy.
That's a fate still available. I wasn't able
what?
to use it, unfortunately. And that's gonna allow Akino to stay alive. I love the battles we have been seeing on and on again. None are giving any breaks onto each other. And still, we are seeing the gold reflecting a little bit better on the side of Team Vietnam. But I'm liking the fight that Laos is putting up against them.
Yeah. But a 4k gold lead just says a lot about how Vietnam has been playing around their resources since a while ago. They do have all their items up on both sides, but this is not going to be significant just yet until the next objective that's going to come in. But I think Y1 is in trouble here.
Yeah, he has to pop in the Dominus lot effect by Laos there. But that can actually going to be going in once Bumpy Hextech Ultimatum. Nice stasis to deny that. As now Laos looks to fight back or flee rather. As Triple J gets blown up. Now Vietnam going in once more. The bubbles are coming. The paddle stars are being a big problem here for Team Laos. Oh no. Okay. It's safe.
Not gonna continue though, but this tower in the mid lane is looking like it's gonna fall down. That's such damage. Oh, what?
Yeah, Blue Moon's gonna survive. Fate sealed here by G-Force 1. Gets a trade off against doing actually a lot of work. Almost gets a kill onto Agano, but here comes Rapunzel. No wind slash, unfortunate. No flash as well. Being slowed down. Akino is just slowly but surely running off to safety.
Was able to run away. They got the kill. They got the shutdown. They really needed that right now, but Akeno body slam.
Yep. Into the Renekton engage. Y1 though is being CC chained, but there nice damage coming up. G-Force 1 still stays alive, and Meliodas has to fall back. Nice wind slash here by Rapunzel. Even manages to back away. BMM going up in a good fight. Blue Moon chasing. Meliodas gets the kill, but here comes Kenza as well in the equation. Camille falls down, and Laos continues to throw in the punches.
Great play from the side of the during that whole fight, and Vietnam just went in one by one. The frustration from the first kill, they had to trade something up, but they weren't able to do anything. Laos just played their space around CCs, and Vietnam would answer with anything.
That puts a big problem right now into the team fighting of Team Vietnam. The aggressive force of Laos is just too much for them. And all those CC chains, all those just Blue Moon's burst, and also G-Force and Rapunzel, when they are added onto each other, onto the Vietnam, it becomes a big problem for them. Actually did not connect him there. How did that happen? But Akano still fall down. BMM has to fall back. Ends up with a battle start and a flash in by Y1 completely deletes Rapunzel out of the map. Have to fight more. Here comes the shackles here by Yan and Throne, and they get the answer back once again.
Laos played that so well. Getting that kill on Rapunzel didn't really phase them. They just went in target for target. The backline was important because they know that Genza is the biggest threat right now on the map against their side. And Vietnam weren't able to protect them that much because when they go to the backline, when they go for the death mark to the fate sealed, Genza is just going to be dead in the water.
Oh my gosh. This is starting a big mountain to climb, not for Team Laos, but Team Vietnam now. And we hyped them so much before the match has started. We saw some of the mistakes that Team Laos has made over the course of the game. But as they stack up, as they continue to fight back, we see them really landing those strikes onto Team Vietnam. G-Force doing so much, especially with Blue Moon in the equation. And now as they group up here for the next dragon, I don't even think Team Vietnam can actually fight this, but with the paddle star connecting onto G-Force.
Oh no, he made a mistake!
No! Big mistake! Triple J gets to lead it after that ledge line connected on the terrain. That will give the Ocean Drake in Vietnam.
I think this is gonna be a free Drake after that. But oh, look at that Genza.
Yeah. Nice stasis though by Genza to deny
Oh,
that.
G-Force
that
1 is
burst.
dead
Oh,
too. Yeah,
another stasis. Nice flash
Wait,
away. He
what's
dodges
that
the bomb. The cast though is gonna be a big problem as they look to fight back. Meliodas going the front, Genza
wait,
as
the
well in
bubble.
trouble. One Paddle Stars should
Oh
connect and
my.
secure the double for Genza. Team Vietnam just got tired of it all.
And Genza again. The spotlight is on this man, getting that sleeping trouble bubbles to the paddle stars. As long as he's free to rain down on them, they're just gonna be falling one by one. That charge gonna come in.
Yeah, this depth charge is gonna pose a big problem. Akino is just too far away from his ally. Sacrificial Kragas here in this game.
Good kill to their side. Just the mistakes, or at least the cracks in the armors of Vietnam. But even though that happens, even though their kills are at par with each other, look at the gold lead. It's almost 7k. That just says a lot about how this team Vietnam knows how to play around their lanes. They have a lot of towers down. 3 towers are down on the side of Laos, and use of that. Even if they lose a bit of space from the champion kills that we're seeing around the map, I think Vietnam still has the better macro.
Yeah, and it's reflecting on this on the gold here. A while ago, they have 3,000 gold lead, 4,000 gold lead. Now it's even going towards 6,000, despite them kind of losing in some of the team fights. So good overall macro, like what you mentioned. Y1 gonna be piled upon here by Boon and Rapunzel. Nice stasis though to delay that
vision.
burst. And Akino is even they don't have vision here in the bot lane as well, split pushing.
Yeah. I thought that they're going to be committing there for side of Laos, because if they commit at that point, they could have found opportunities at place, because BMM is at the bot side. They get it in order for them to take them and just take some risk. Because as long as Vietnam has this advantage, Genza is just free ring with those paddle stars, and that's going to be a hard fight, a hard position to be in. So Laos needs to take some risk here and risk to try and take Genza out, because also shutdown goals could be that's just free if Genza just get taken away.
Absolutely. It's a big responsibility alive in this map, in this game. He is dealing an obnoxious amount of damage here to Team Laos. Even as in this game,
JJ.
Triple J again. That's the second time already. A big mistake. So this is a 4v5 fight. Here comes G-Force 1. Solan is gonna bound him once more here, back to his initial position. And Team Vietnam is just eyeing on securing this tower in the top lane. Team Laos looks to fight back, but they need to be very careful of the trap here of Team Vietnam.
Yeah, verify every target that they see around the map. A while ago, they didn't have any vision at this top side of the map. They tried to go and contest some vision. Vietnam was at the ready. They're gonna be helping. I think JJ is gonna be a key here for them to get some vision for the Baron, because the Baron could be threatened here by the side of Vietnam. But there's also an objective coming out. The Infernal Drake is gonna be up in like 2 minutes. So Laos needs to try and take another objective down. They do have some towers, at least now they have 2. It's gonna be a fight that Genza. This is a fight that Genza wants to go for. Look at this. Look at the amount of walls that they have here.
But it also picked up already by Genza.
Bubble
Oh
again.
no! Nice stasis though to delay the fact of that burst, and actually goes with a fate seal, but immediately gets blown away here by Vietnam, as now Genza is on a killing spree, still throwing on those paddle stars, free hitting in this fight.
think that's
Team
it.
Laos suddenly collapsing, having the worst possible nightmare. Oh no! They were having a good
That
time a while
tower.
ago, but suddenly the fun is over, says Team
That's game.
Vietnam. Yeah, they're going for the game, man.
Yeah, they're wanting to end this game, and I think they're just gonna be wanting to kill Rapunzel here, and that's gonna be it. For the Nexus, Vietnam just showed us how to play macro, how to play our rap, and Genza, the star of the show there, for the side of Team Vietnam, just played so well. That Sleepy Trouble Bubbles to the paddle stars, that's a lot of value from this man, and that's a really, really scary Zoe.
Such a scary Zoe. Genza, I think, had a score of 9. That was in that fight. Was killing spree or unstoppable in that last fight as well. Definitely a big performance here overall by Team Vietnam. Laos had a nice run in the early game, honestly, but the fact that it couldn't be reflected on the gold, especially what you mentioned earlier, the good macro of Team Vietnam, getting resources across the map despite them losing on fights. They were still able to collect all those golds. It was such a an unfortunate case here for Team Laos, especially when they finally got caught by those engaged. When the Yone got caught in that hexagratum, BMM, it was just so pristine on those ults.
Yeah, I like the investments that they have here on the side of Vietnam. They always just let someone push on the side lane, get some resources, get some jungle on the enemy side, and that's the reason they got the bigger chunk of the gold that we've seen there. Even if they lose, it's okay because we're not gonna be losing a lot. They're gonna be gaining they're gonna be gaining a bit, but even if the game goes as long as it could be, as I said, there's not a lot of value with Morgana getting stronger, but there's a lot of value with a Zoe getting stronger. Gensa was just a monster during that game, and we've seen that in action. Even in the amount of CCs that we've seen, the Tormented Soul isn't just there to actually do anything for the side of Laos, but it's still a good fight. When it came to the bigger scale of things, Vietnam was able to win, but on those big fights, Laos was able to outsmart a team like Vietnam, and that shows promise for Laos.
Yeah, good promise indeed. I mean, I believe this is a fight that should have been kind of one-sided, especially with the prowess of Team Vietnam. But Team Laos actually put up a really nice game here against them. The only problem, definitely, if we were to pin it down to one point, is the amount of impact that Genza had in the late game. Him being almost untouchable was a big problem here for Team Laos, and he was just throwing all those battle stars, all those sleepy trouble bubbles, and going in and out. And with the lesser gap closing utilities or abilities of Team Laos, especially that they use it morely to engage onto Y1, Meliodas, and the other players here of Team Vietnam, it was already difficult to close it even further to the back line. And this replay is just represents how the game has started. I mean, Team Vietnam had a good start actually, but there were also instances where Team Laos were the ones dominating a clash, like this one.
Yeah, and most of the time with Laos, I really like their target selection when it came to the middle stages of the game. But the problem there is they weren't able to follow through more with that. The start of it was when Gensa already had stasis. That is when it all fell down because they didn't know what to do. Look at how this fight went. Look at how Laos plays this. This is really a showing of what they do in this team fights, and they didn't know anymore once the stasis pops on the side of Vietnam. And that's a challenge that they need to cover for themselves, because that's going to be a challenge that is going to be present in any game that they're going to be fighting in this double round robin.
We saw as well more discipline on the side of Team Vietnam. Not only for the team fights, I mean, the team fights were really good as well on the side of Team Laos, but what happens after a clash is much better on the side of Team Vietnam. Even if they lose, they actually collect more gold against Team Laos. Even if they lost twice in a team fight, we saw the gold going from 3,000 gold lead going to 6,000 gold lead in their favor, and that says a lot in terms of them being able to get all the resources. And I think that's the only issue, I guess, here on the side of Team Laos. If they're gonna be able to patch that problem for their next game, they're gonna have a better run over the course of the day and maybe even tomorrow.
Yeah, I do hope that they would be able to actually do that, would be able to really strengthen themselves in a way that this game is still just a hurdle from their long journey, but they would still have games in just a bit, because I mean, they're gonna be having 2 games against Philippines and Singapore later on, and even Cambodia for their last game for today. So that's gonna be a challenge that they should be ready, because right now it's still the first challenge. Laos is just Vietnam is just the first challenge here.
Yeah, first challenge here. Later on, even after the next match, because we are gonna be seeing Singapore versus Vietnam this time after this match, and after that it's gonna be Laos versus the Philippines. That for sure is going to be another challenge for them. But I think it's an okay performance demonstrated here by Team Laos. That was the only problem I saw on them, and what some of their cases were actually good on their side. They were able to match the aggressive play style of Team Vietnam and avoid some of the traps that they were layering out as well. And I think I want to commend as well Team Vietnam because they picked up Genza's Zoe in the first picking phase. Normally we see the Zoe being picked off in the last two, right? But they were very confident securing that. They ditched even the Jace pick. They wanted full control, full leverage, and full amplification of the power of Genza.
Yeah, and what's great about that is even if they don't pick it in the second rotation, what's great about it is that they planned it all together because they wanted to pick the Zoe in the first place. They banned the Ziggs. Lux was banned too. So the only options that they have is that Morgana. And that's really smart of them because having the Morgana against the Zoe is like giving yourself a way out, to get yourself on a way out with the Morgana pick. But honestly, Morgana is still not a great counter to a really strong Zoe because whenever a Paddle Star hits, even if the Sleepy Trouble Bubble is not there to go for the CC, the extra damage is still there, which is the reason why it's still hard.
We
it's
see
still gonna be
the
a hard
HP bars, boom.
yeah. Even without the CC, we didn't even see a big black shield that actually helped them out during that whole game.
So that was kind of unfortunate there on the side of Team Laos, definitely, as they just wanted to get those team fight wins, and some of which they actually won. Props to Akino as well. Lots of plays were made there by his Gragas. Those body slams connecting and those casks actually helping them win some of the team fights to leverage in alongside with those gap closers that they had, because their line was, they had the Renekton, they had the Kha'Zix, they had Camille, so many dashes actually. Even the Zoe had a gap closer. So those mobility skills actually help them so much navigate around the team fight to avoid the threats that Laos wanted to throw at them. I can recall GeForce 1 trying to go in again and being avoided by the members of Team Vietnam simply because of their skill sets.
Yeah. And I do hope that we have a lot more of that because Vietnam, Cerberus has always put themselves out there, and we all know whenever it comes to Vietnam, they're one of the names that you always hear. Cerberus, Team Flash, and this is why I'm really scared of what's going to come here for the next games that we're gonna have, because the Philippines has just shown us a dominating game a while ago that was 25-3, but this next game is gonna be way different, Giyang, because it's again, we're gonna be seeing Singapore again trying to fight against Vietnam for the next one. But looking at the stats,
Ooh,
look at
Kenza.
that. Genza just dealt basically 3 people's worth of damage aside of Vietnam.
I believe Genza as well was the first one to fully utilize a Zoe in the previous tournament that we have casted, and he dealt like 40,000 damage on the Zoe as well. In this game, it's very high as well, 31,000 damage, and almost unkillable performance all throughout the game, and a significant amount of impact as well, not only in the laning phase but mostly on the team fights as well. Despite of GeForce 1, Rapunzel, and Blue Moon Sky, I mean, Blue Moon Sky tried his very best to get those kills. At one point, he even secured a triple kill in some of the fights, but it was still just not enough here to match the prowess of Team Vietnam. On the stats, we do see, at the end of the game, having a 13,000 gold lead. All the resources, especially the Drakes, taken here by Team Vietnam. Despite Laos securing both Rift Heralds, they weren't really able to translate it into a gold. Genza, well, this
No
is
surprises
almost
there.
2,000 damage per minute. This guy is just an absolute beast.
Yeah. It's just crazy with his Zoe. I've seen him during the last tournament too that we casted. Genza was one of those players that if you're against him, you should always ban the Zoe, because Zoe is so bannable at that. And that gives us an idea why they second picked the Zoe. It's because they know that Genza would carry the game for them. And that he did.
It did.
damage, the kill participation, and the goal per minute. Even if we don't talk about that, the damage per minute is enough to say that this man is really great with the Zoe.
This guy is demonic on the Zoe and definitely should be respected on his champion picks in the next upcoming games and days to come here for this team. And I believe that's just gonna be it for that particular match. I mean, we still have Team Singapore versus Team Vietnam, and finally, actually, Team Vietnam secured their first point after a game loss that they had against Team Philippines. And they will be having one more game again here against Team Singapore as well. That secured their win a while ago against Team Cambodia. So both now have their first point. And let's see if who is going to be getting their second point here in this game. I mean, this day has been filled with action of games, but we will be seeing more for sure.
Yeah, I hope that we see more on this game, but I think we're gonna be going in a break here, Giang.
Yeah, we are going to be going into a very short break in a while. So you are watching the Southeast Asia Esports Championship 2023, and we are your casters, Giang and Dash. Will be seeing you for the match of Singapore and Vietnam, but before that, we'll just be hopping by into a short break.